This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock, I'm Barry Caffrey. The headlines: Stoke Mandeville Hospital accused of putting children at risk. Coach driver released on bail after Saturday's crash on M1 in Bedfordshire. And appeal for CCTV to be installed in a Watford cemetery following robberies.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A Buckinghamshire hospital where Jimmy Savile abused patients is being accused of putting children at risk. The campaign group Mandate Now has been looking into Stoke Mandeville's child protection policy and thinks it's not up to scratch. Matt Lockwood reports.
Mandate Now says that child protection measures at Stoke Mandeville are too vague and leave many uncertainties about who is responsible for protecting children from abuse. Jimmy Savile's abusers at the hospital are thought to have involved more than 60 victims. In response to Mandate Now, Bucks Healthcare NHS Trust says it takes the protection of children very seriously and internal processes have been strengthened.
The coach driver, arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1 in which two men from Buckinghamshire died, has been released on bail. A third man is in a critical but stable condition at the John Ratcliffe Hospital in Oxford. The three men were returning to Buckinghamshire after a night out in London. No one on the coach, which was travelling from Kent and had 63 people on board, was hurt. Police are continuing to appeal for witnesses to the collision, which happened at 7:15 on Saturday morning on the northbound hard shoulder between junctions 12 and 13, closing the road for several hours. A 17-year-old boy is due to stand trial today for the murder of an 18-year-old in Watford. 18-year-old Akil Khan was found with fatal stab wounds in Croxley View last August and died at Watford General Hospital a short time later. The boy, who lives in Watford, denies the charges. Video apparently showing the killings of at least 10 Coptic Christians in Libya by jihadists allied to Islamic State has been released online. The Egyptian president has said his country reserves the right to respond in any way it sees fit. A Hertfordshire family says CCTV cameras are the only way to stop flowers being stolen from relatives' graves at the North Watford cemetery. Silk flowers worth £250 were taken from Carlo Manfrey's grave in two separate incidents, having been left there by his family. Iain Duncan reports.
Jordan Manfrey said his mother was left in tears after the thefts and scared to put anything else on the grave. Watford Borough Council's increasing its ranger patrols and beginning a detailed review of its cemeteries, which will look at security issues. Hertfordshire Police are investigating the two thefts in January and earlier this month and are appealing for information.
A survey by the Consumers Association, which claims that commuters are being driven to distraction by poor service on the railways. Travellers on routes from the southeast into London are said to be the least satisfied. The survey of 7,000 travellers identified Thameslink, which operates services from Bedford, Luton and St Albans into the capital, as among the worst performers. And the weather forecast staying cloudy and misty this morning with areas of fog slowly clearing. It will be a rainy day with highs of 7 Celsius, that's 45 in Fahrenheit. BBC Three Counties Radio News. I'm back with more at 6:30.
Oh man, it's half term. Let's party!
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for it's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but I know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
Yes, kids, half term. What are you doing?
I didn't realise you'd turn my microphone
I'm talking to the kids. It's half-term, kids. That's right. And those school projects, that homework you were given, stick it to the man.
They won't be up. They'll still be in bed.
No, man, the kids are up. They get to listen to all 3 hours of this. And then they get to listen to the first 30 minutes of JVS, and then they get to watch JK, Jeremy Kyle. Man alive, I know you're going to be having cheeky little smokes out your bedroom windows, guys. But try not to burn too much incense, because parents get wise to that. Mm-hmm. Why are you burning incense? What are you smoking? Nothing.
Why are you so into mints?
No, nothing. Nothing. Sign up on the show today, man. It's hip, it's happening, it's rad. I'd even go as far as to say it's a little bit bitchin'.
Oh?
Yeah.
Is it sick?
Yeah, no, mate, the kids don't say that anymore, but it is wicked. We got J-Dog. He's been to speak to some women after the 50 Shades of Grey movie. It's trendy, and it's trending on Twitter. David Essex. He's a dad at 67. One for the kids. And other stuff for the kids. We'll have, like, sock puppets and stuff. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC
Kids Love Puppets.
Interesting how you're going to get to this first item.
I'm going to get... Well, hang on a second. I know, I am a professional. When I say professional, I don't mean square. I'm not one of the suits. I'm one of you guys, the kids. Speaking of kids, the show's very own voice of youth, Kelly Betts.
Good morning.
Name some bands that kids like.
Room 94.
Beautiful.
Got us trending at the weekend.
Of course they were, because they are... Brap.
They are so brat.
If you're a kid and you want to just, call up and speak to an adult, but an adult who understands you, 08459 455 555, BBC Local Radio. All the kids are listening to it. It's hip, man. It's hip, it's happening. It's where it's at.
It's rad.
It's bitchin'. Should we play a song for the under 18-year-olds?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's have it. Yeah?
Oh, no, we can't play this.
It's hip. It's happening. It's by the kids. It's for the kids.
It's very, very, very rude.
It's probably on top of the pops this week.
Dealers keep a dealing, thieves keep a feeling, whores keep a whoring, junkies keep scoring, traders on a meat track, surgeons full of hunchbacks, bitches keep a bitchin', clap just keeps a itchin'. Ain't no use in playing, that's the way staying, baby.
Pop group for the kids. 08459 455 555.
That's history then. That
Shut up, man. That's
history for the
happening,
kids.
and that is a current. Now, campaigners claim that Stoke Mandeville Hospital is still putting children at risk years after the abuse carried out by Jimmy Savile. Mandate Now is speaking out ahead of 2 reports into what happened at the hospital and says the hospital's child protection policy still isn't up to scratch. The pressure group is pushing for it to be an offence not to report suspicions of abuse to the authorities. Well, Catherine's got more on this. What are Mandate Now saying?
Well, Mandate Now, as you said, their pressure group has been auditing child protection policies of schools, the BBC and institutions like Stoke Mandeville. And they believe not much has changed since revelations about Savile's abuses first came to light in 2012. Now, Mandate Now told us they want to have their say ahead of any minister coming out following the publication of the Savile reports in Stoke Mandeville and saying that everything's fine. They say the hospital's child protection policy is far too vague and offers very little support to junior staff who want to report suspicions. Now, it conforms to the bare statutory minimums, they say. The 53-page document leaves many uncertainties, including who's responsible for protecting children and deciding whether suspected abuse should or must be reported to independent authorities.
Any response from the trust that runs Stoke Mandeville?
Well, we approached them yesterday to see whether they would come onto the programme and talk to us about it. They sent us a statement. This is Buckinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust. It says it takes safeguarding responsibilities extremely seriously. Since the first Savile revelations, it said, we have strengthened our internal processes, for example, by introducing a comprehensive training strategy, by appointing named safeguarding leads within the trust, and through the launch of an awareness campaign to enable staff to speak out safely. We are never complacent and are always working to strengthen our approach.
It sounds like lessons have been learned, which is interesting because at the same time as Savile, there was a doctor there, wasn't there, who was also abusing girls. He's just been found guilty, hasn't he?
You're talking about the paediatrician Michael Salmon. He was recently sentenced to 18 years in prison after being found guilty of indecently assaulting girls at Stoke Mandeville in the 70s and 80s. The 79-year-old, who was struck off in 1991, carried out the attacks at the same time, as you say, as
But there's
Savile.
no connection, is there, between him and Savile?
That's not the suggestion, no. His victims cried in court, and during Mr Salmon's trial, more women contacted the police to report that they'd been suffering abuse at his hands, and he was supposed to be caring for them.
He was, I was going to say he was horrible. They all are. But he would often abuse the children behind a curtain while their parents were on the other side. It's incredible.
Yeah, he believed that his position meant that no one would believe them over him.
Yep. Do we know any more about these reports into the abuses committed by Savile at Stoke Mandeville?
Well, they're expected to be published next week and will further demonstrate its thought, the scale of Savile's abuse of patients at Stoke Mandeville. They've been held up by various legal proceedings. Liz Dux, who we'll be speaking to later on, she's one of the solicitors at Slater and Gordon, representing 44 people who were assaulted by Savile at the hospital. She says her clients have evidence that management knew about Savile's abuse.
Wowzers.
And she told us that the scale of the abuse was extraordinary. Savile was indiscriminate. He assaulted children, autograph hunters, nurses, people who worked in the chapel. She also said that there were unlikely to be any further prosecutions on the back of these reports because there is no law that makes the inaction of management an offence.
Ouch.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Having a look at the speed sensors in Milton Keynes. No reports of any major delays at the moment, but there are the roadworks on the A421 Standing Way around the Kingston roundabout, so expect delays there when it starts to get busier. In High Wycombe on Marlow Hill, there's also some temporary traffic lights at Marlow Road, so that's likely to get busy as well when people start moving and driving around. On the cameras, having a look at the M40 and the M1, it's all moving fine at the moment, but it's looking very foggy, so that will make visibility slightly more difficult than usual. On the trains, no reports of any major delays so far. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 6:16. It is Monday, the 16th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The campaign group Mandate Now is accusing Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire of putting children at risk. The coach driver arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1, in which 2 men from Buckinghamshire died, has been released on bail. And the weather? Yeah.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Three Counties Sport.
Tomorrow night, Luton and MK Dons are back in league action.
And of course, with Three Counties Sport, you'll get all the build-up.
Dave in goal, Jordan, Tom right centre half, Kyle left centre half, and Louis.
Live commentary.
And Luton have a 2-goal lead, and the keeper made an absolute mess of that. Oh my goodness me! And that just caps off a wonderful MK Dons performance.
And all the reaction on your local team.
Both sets of supporters supported their team fantastic, and I thought both teams went at it hammer and tong.
Three Counties Sport featuring MK Dons and Luton.
Tomorrow night from 7, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, my voice is on the edge of going.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I'm saying is, well, nothing.
I mean, you've got to say something.
Well, I don't want to say too much.
You earn about 3 times more than me, so you've got to say 3 times more than I have.
I think it's even more than that.
Yeah, it's probably significantly
more than that.
But
less
work.
What I need
less work.
Significantly less work. Yeah. But what? No, you're wrong. I don't need to say 3 times more. I need to say 3 times better, which I've just done.
Oh.
So even if I didn't
3 times more better.
Yeah. So even if I didn't speak for the rest of the show, I've earned my money.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay. It's an interesting thought.
Hey.
When I say interesting, I mean nonsense.
Listen, we've got a lot of young kids listening today. 15,
No, we've not.
16,
They'll all be in bed.
17-year-olds. If you're a kid and you're off school, well, first of all, hey man, how's it hanging?
You're not allowed to say that.
Sorry?
They don't say that anymore.
Well, what do they say?
Sup.
What's up?
No, not that.
This is what's up, kid? What's up? I hope you're having a really good morning.
You look butters today.
Not.
Oh. Yes.
Totally owning these youngsters, man. I'm having a bit of bants with you. It's classic bants. It's classic bants. Andy.
Hello.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Ian.
We got a lot of youngsters listening today, man. What would you like to say to the kids?
Well, first of all, I think you'll be lucky if you've got many youngsters listening at 6:50.
Exactly my point, Andy. They will be tucked up in bed.
Between the ages of 6 and 15 is our target audience this morning.
You may have played a record for the over 30s at 6:50.
What are you talking about? I played the Scream. I'm playing the Scream, man. Kids dig the Scream. Screamadelica. Ding-a-ding-a-ding. You're twisting my melons, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, on 50 Shades of Grey,
Yes, Andrew.
why is it that it's being viewed mainly by women when it's a film about male domination and abuse? What's going on?
Well, hang on a second. Justin.
Yes, boss?
You went to 50 Shades of Grey this weekend. You didn't see it, but you spoke to women. Why is it being viewed by women when it's about male domination and abuse?
I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, the second point you made there, I've got no idea, but I think the first point, I think it's fantasy, isn't it? That's why women are going in their thousands to watch this film, because it's purely fantasy.
Do you know what? Having read 1.5 of the books before I got bored, it's because he's kind of damaged and she's trying to save him in a way. I think there's an element of that going on, which of course is the big old trick for people who in relationships with people who take the
Can
mick.
I just say, guys, got a lot of young ears listening. I just want to say to the kids,
yeah,
it's all about love.
Yep.
Put something on it.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying.
Great advice from Monday morning.
Thank you,
the
Andy.
Whole week ahead.
Thank you very much. It's true, though, Just.
Very true.
Now, the 50 Shades of Mayhem is happening this Sunday. 5:40 screening of 50 Shades of Grey.
Sounds like you better book tickets because it's going to pack out.
I'll book tickets today. Me, you, Dave Luton, not you. D-Dog, that's Dennis, Matty Bum Bum. I've ordered the T-shirts. Laura's coming as well. I've not ordered her a T-shirt.
Can I come?
No.
Why?
T-shirts coming this week, Just.
Fantastic.
It's going to be flipping awesome.
Let me just tell you something right now.
Please do, mate.
I've got a little package coming up for you later on, talking to the ladies yesterday.
Yeah.
Some of those I cannot use because what was said to me yesterday, now I'm not easily shocked.
No.
And I've got the evidence here. I promise you, I will play you some of what people said. What people were saying to me yesterday when they came out of that cinema was absolutely disgusting.
Beautiful.
Pure filth.
Well, kids, make sure you're brushing your teeth then. Put something on the end of it. Justin, I'm going to put. I'm going to play a song for the kids because we've got a lot of youngsters listening.
Yeah.
AC/DC, Back in Black.
Well. Yep.
And then we're going to come back and talk about something a little bit serious. So you've got 4 minutes and 16 seconds of youth culture to compose yourself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
This is for the kids. Enjoy. Morning, kids. Stay in bed. Stay in bed. School's out. Homework's for squares. BBC Local Radio, doing it for the kids.
Actually, you'll find that there are always deadlines in life, and if you get your homework done now, you can enjoy the rest of your holiday without worrying about it.
Okay, can I just say, kids, little example, just.
I've got to say, boss, the opening 20 minutes today has been absolutely top draw.
For the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just say, I'm saying, don't do your homework, right? And I didn't. Look where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Kath's saying, do your homework. She did. I'm her boss.
No, you're not.
I'm her boss.
I think you'll find I'm your boss.
I'm her boss, and I get paid at least 3 times as much as her.
Well, the latter is true.
Do you know what I mean, Justin? Kids, you've got the evidence. You decide.
I suppose you're dealing in fact, aren't you, then?
Exactly, mate. Pure fact. Now, listen, on to slightly more serious things, and we're gonna hear about your 50
But
Shades
I
of
can
Grey.
read medieval French. So who's the winner?
Can we do this
hang on.
story or not?
Yeah, go on.
Can we?
Go.
I don't know. Can we do it, or do we just move on? Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. I read about this at the weekend. This is crazy. CCTV in graveyards is being proposed by Watford after a series of thefts from the North Watford Cemetery. Not of bodies, but of paraphernalia that people have left on people's graves. One grave has been targeted on 2 separate occasions, just.
Absolutely. £50 bunch of flowers was stolen from the grave last month. I mean, that's bad enough, but earlier this month, then a larger quantity of silk flowers worth about £200 was taken as well. Carlos' son Jordan, who you're going to be talking to later, told us his mum thought it wouldn't happen again after the first incident, so they're now maybe opting for a bigger display onto the grave after these 6 thieves have been taking flowers.
The family must have been incredibly upset.
Yes, Jordan said his mum was crying down the phone to him, as you might imagine, not long after finding out. His mum told him that she was scared to spend more money on flowers after what's happened, so he thinks it should be up to the family to decorate the grave how they want, because of course they own that space, don't they?
Well, so there's talk of CCTV cameras improving security. Is that going to work?
At a cemetery, yeah, it sounds awful. Well, the cemetery can be used as a walkway, so that could be difficult. Jordan says that cameras, he believes, are the only way to stop people taking flowers. Likely, though, to be an increased police patrol in the area, but he thinks, and again, you'll talk to him later, that cameras are quite possibly the most effective way of dealing with thieves from stealing from a cemetery.
Watford Borough Council and Hertfordshire Police, what have they both said, Just?
Well, in a statement, Watford Borough Council said that they're saddened by the incident and they're beginning a detailed review of its cemeteries, and security will be one of those issues they're looking into. As for the police, they said that they're investigating the theft and, again, have increased patrols in the area, but they'd like to hear from anybody who might have information. And again, they're saying similar incidents have been reported before about this, and it's something that I've heard about. You know, local cemeteries where I live, people every now and again steal from cemeteries.
It doesn't surprise me, and that's the sad thing.
Are you going to give that to somebody? I mean,
Well,
for heaven's sake.
I put it this way: if somebody is short of money and Valentine's Day,
I was just thinking Valentine's.
Valentine's Day is coming up. If you've got a bunch of flowers at a cemetery, somebody steals those. How is that person receiving those flowers supposed to know they've come from a cemetery?
Well, silk flowers, bit of a giveaway, isn't it?
I'm just saying, a lot of things do go missing from cemeteries.
Do you know what, Just? Yeah, Valentine's Day. Listen, we'll speak to you in about 20 minutes.
Yep.
About 50 Shades. That's tight, isn't it?
That's horrible.
Then I've heard stories of people, what Justin just said, nicking some flowers on the way home to give to the missus, you know. 08459 455 555. Do we ask the question? Yeah, let's ask it. Have you ever stolen anything from a cemetery? I bet people have. I bet people listening to this have done it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Let's get the Trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Aston Abbott's on the A418, there's some temporary traffic lights that have been put in Rosham Road, so expect some delays there when it starts to get busier. Also in High Wycombe, it's all moving fine at the moment on the A40, but there is a lane closed in both directions at Temple Street, which could cause some delays later on. It's starting to look quite busy looking at the speed sensors on the North Orbital Road around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. But having a look at the M25, that's all moving fine so far at the moment, and no reports of any delays on the M40. But looking at the cameras, it is very, very foggy, so visibility will be reduced. reduced, but more than usual. On the trains, no reports of any delays at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30 with the headlines. I'm Barry Caffrey. A Buckinghamshire hospital where Jimmy Savile abused patients is being accused of putting children at risk. The campaign group Mandate Now says that child protection measures at Stoke Mandeville are too vague and leave many uncertainties about who is responsible for protecting children from abuse. Buckinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust says it takes the protection of children very seriously and internal processes have been strengthened. The coach driver arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1 in which 2 men from Buckinghamshire died has been released on bail. A third man is in a critical but stable condition at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. A 17-year-old boy is due to stand trial today for the murder of an 18-year-old in Watford. Akil Khan was found with fatal stab wounds in Croxley View last August and died at Watford General a short time later. The boy, who lives in Watford, denies the charges. A Hertfordshire family says CCTV cameras are the only way to stop flowers being stolen from relatives' graves at the North Watford Cemetery. Silk flowers worth £250 were taken from Carlo Manfrey's grave in 2 separate incidents, having been left there by his family. And the weather forecast staying cloudy and misty this morning with areas of fog slowly clearing. It'll be a rainy day with highs of 7 Celsius, that's 45 in Fahrenheit.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Town moved up to 4th in League 2 after Saturday's 1-0 home win against Carlisle. Mark Cullen scored the goal, but centre-back Luke Wilkinson was sent off for bringing down Anthony Sweeney midway through the second half. Though the Hatters boss, John Still, was pleased that Cameron McGeehan is returning to the club.
No, it's a great signing for us, and if I look at Michael Harriman, that we're trying to do the same sort of thing with Luke Wilkinson that came in earlier this year, Cameron McGeehan, Pelly Ruddock, Mark Cullen. There's a pattern emerging of young, hungry, ambitious players that, I think can carry the club a long, long way. I really do.
2 goals in 2 minutes from Olivier Giroud saw FA Cup holders Arsenal safely through to the last 8. They beat Middlesbrough 2-0 at the Emirates, and manager Arsene Wenger says he felt obliged to name a strong side despite facing lower league opposition.
You go out at home in the FA Cup when you are the holders, that wouldn't look good, and I feel we are the holders of the trophy. We want to give absolutely everything to keep it. On top of that, at the moment, in every single game, in every single position, I have a choice to make between 2 players who are top quality.
Ireland have got their Cricket World Cup campaign off to a winning start with a famous victory over West Indies. They beat the 2-time champions by 4 wickets in Nelson, with the winning runs coming from John Mooney. Chasing 305 to win, Ireland coasted home with Paul Sterling making 92, Ed Joyce 84 and Niall O'Brien not out on 79. Meanwhile, England one-day captain Owen Morgan and Kevin Peterson have been picked to play for Sunrisers Hyderabad in this year's Indian Premier League. To the Six Nations, and Wales have got their first points of the championship after suffering a home loss to England on the opening weekend. They narrowly beat Scotland 26-23 at Murrayfield. Those are the sports headlines. I'm back with a full bulletin at 7 o'clock.
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
People in this country deserve... Hey, Kelly Betts!
Hello.
We've not said hello to you yet.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you, my lovely Butters princess?
Hey,
Iain?
you've got to stop. I'm old enough to be your ever so slightly older brother.
I know, but
Got to
you
stop that.
are Butters inside and out. And I just want you to know.
I'm grinning like a big chicken.
I know.
I think you're Butters as well, if that.
Look, he's got such a Butters smile.
If you look up Butters in the Urban Dictionary,
don't
it would have a picture of your face.
Yes, it would.
Cheesy grin.
Oh, Butters.
Hey, apparently there's a glass of milk in every cheese string. I don't believe that for a second.
Glass of what?
Milk in every cheese string.
Cheese strings are what the girls den want, apparently.
Cheese strings. And now listen, I don't want to, knock a brand, but flipping it, what's that all about?
I like it.
I love it.
Why do cheese strings not taste as nice unless you splay them? You have to.
Like so many things.
You have to feather them out if you're going to get the full appreciation of the cheese.
Exactly. I saw Shaun the Sheep at the weekend, the movie. I don't like Aardman. I don't like Nick Parks. I hate with a passion.
Why?
Wallace and Gromit. I think they're flipping awful, boring. Oh, look at me. I can do plasticine. Get out of here. I can do plasticine. It's plasticine. It's easy. All you've got is a fancy camera and no sense of humour.
Tell you what I do like, though, them creature comforts. They're funny,
Oh,
aren't they?
they're funny. They're good, actually.
Yeah.
They're funny. But I don't...
What would you be if you were a creature comfort? I think you'd be... well, because you've got a beard today. Like a funny old bear.
I've got a mouth ulcer.
Oh.
Okay, so first of all, Shaun the Sheep. Okay, whatever. And then just before the film, there's a Shaun the Sheep advert, right? For McDonald's.
Wow.
Oh, yay. All the kids go to Wimpy's and Wendy's. And then the film itself was, I thought, let's be honest, a load of old rubbish.
Why? You didn't think it was believable?
Too many adult jokes in it. Too many, aren't we clever? Look at us with our plasticine and what we can do. Go and get a life. Go out and smoke some fags.
No.
Go and read a book. Go and drink Diamond White outside Lidl's.
Don't.
Go and live. Go and live. Go and look over the edge of a cliff and just think.
Don't, kids, stand back.
And instead, it's like, oh, no, I've got plasticine and look what I can do with the plasticine. I can do fart jokes. I could do fart jokes without plasticine.
Go on then.
I just did. 08459.
It's not a joke.
08459 455 555. Do you want to do a story from the papers? Or, as I said, it's half term, got a load of young people listening. I'm keen to keep them on side by playing some banging tunes.
OK, well, we can do that. But first of all, let's talk about something that the kids will be completely into.
I just want to get a fat one out.
Really?
I just want to lay a fat one.
You don't think that they want to hear about David Essex
There's
first?
your fart joke.
Sorry?
There's your fart joke.
No, mate, I want to lay a fat one. I've got a fat one all ready to go. I just want to curl it out.
Oh, now, come on.
Can I? Or you want to talk about David Essex?
I think everyone wants to talk about David Essex.
Let's talk about David Essex.
David Essex has become...
But I've got a fat one ready to just lay on the floor.
OK, drop it then.
You really like my limousine. You like the way the wheels roll. You like my 7-inch leather heel. And going to all of the shows. But do you love me? Do you love me?
drug man ever.
So boobs is not news.
He thinks he's going to sleep on a snake. Oh, I think it's disgusting.
Wait.
Huh?
I missed the guy who says put that thing away.
Put that ruddy thing away. It was me. I've got so many of these. I don't know.
You need to get them in order. Are you
serious? Yeah, I've got too many of these things. Yeah.
No, man.
Sex is everywhere.
Where's Yeah.
It's so close to my home. And
Where's put that ruddy thing away? I've got no idea where that is. I may have lost that one. What you got in the back? David Essex.
David
for
Essex.
the kids.
Okay, now this is a man who's older than my dad. Gonna make you a par. Essex is the father.
Make you apart. Yeah, that is brilliant. Well done.
67.
What?
He's 67. He became a father for the 5th time last year, but it seems past experience hasn't made the early mornings any easier for David Essex.
Do you know what his missus should have said to him?
Put that ruddy thing away.
The former pop pin-up looked a little tired as he This is just an excuse for showing a picture of David Essex pushing a pushchair. And he's doing that thing, actually, that some men do, which is pushing it with one hand as if he's not with it.
No, no.
You know, my granddad used to do that. He used to push me in my pushchair, but he used to stand to the side and he'd hold just one hand like this, as if I'm not with this baby. He's just following me.
He's playing the game. I do that. I do that. It's just cool, man. You don't need two hands.
It's a posh pushchair as well. It's got like a hand muff.
Matt, you don't need 2 hands to push a pushchair, do you, mate?
Yes.
No, sorry. You must have misheard me. You don't need 2 hands to push a pushchair, do you, mate?
Yes, you've got 2 handles on there.
Yeah.
No, mate. You don't. Yeah.
You've started again. You're trying to be awkward again.
You're trying to get a slap. Let Catherine finish her story, mate. A little bit rude of you to interrupt, Catherine.
The former pop pin-up looked a little tired as he strolled with his Are you all right? His 7-month-old son, Sonny. Essex, who's... I'm getting confused now. I thought his son was called Sussex.
So his son's called Sonny?
Yeah.
Sonny Essex?
Sonny Essex.
Oh, that is great, isn't it? Come on, Kels, that's great.
Is his real name Essex?
Even you must find that funny, Matt.
No.
Sonny Essex?
No, I like David Essex.
All right, fella.
I like him
you
too.
keep interrupting Catherine. Bit rude, mate. Bit
Is his
rude.
real name Essex? It's not, is it? It's like Dave Luton.
No, he's David Essex.
No, he's not.
Go on.
So anyway, this Sonny fella, 7 months old, is keeping David Essex awake at night. Sonny is his son by third wife, Suzanne Hallam Wright, and who's 42, by the way, if anyone was concerned. He has 4 grown-up children, aged 42. Oh, that's why they've told us. So his wife's the same age as his kid.
All right.
42 to 26. Earlier this month, Essex said, Sonny's waking us at 5 a.m, but it's just wonderful to have another boy.
It was only a winter's tale, just another winter's tale. On a worldwide scale, it's just another winter's tale.
Why are you all doing Bowie?
Sorry?
Why are you all doing Bowie?
Up, please.
Matt, can I hear your... hello?
Turn the heating up, please.
Is he speaking to the nurse? Matt!
Yes.
Can I hear your Essex?
I don't know.
We're gonna make you a star. Oh.
Hello, Matt. Hello, Matt. Matt.
Are you all right?
Hello, Matt.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 southbound has a lane closed between junction 12 for Flitwick and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. It's stop-start through that stretch at the moment. The M25 anti-clockwise is starting to look quite busy between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 18 for Chorleywood. It's also looking quite slow on the speed sensors on the North Orbital Road around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. On the A1 southbound, it's starting to build up from the Holiday Inn down to Stirling Corner. And on the trains, no reports of any major delays on the trains at the moment, but London Overground has minor delays between Richmond and Willesden Junction because of a signal failure. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:46. It's Monday, the 16th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Campaigners claim Stoke Mandeville Hospital is still putting children at risk years after the abuse carried out by Jimmy Savile. An inquest will be opened this week into the deaths of 3 men killed in a crash on the M1 in Bedfordshire at the weekend. If you want to give us a call, 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather. It's Sarah.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, I can report, having driven into work this morning, that there's quite a bit of mist and fog around across the 3 counties at the moment, and certainly the observations are backing that up. Now, it's not widespread, there's no weather warning out for it, but do be aware that there is some around, and in fact, the travel bulletins, of course, keeping across what's going on the roads. It will start to thin and lift, partly because we've got an increase in cloud moving towards us from the west, and that's because we've got some rain to spread in. It's with us by the latter part of the morning, and with us right the way through the afternoon into the evening rush hour. Temperatures up to around 7 Celsius, but it won't feel any great shakes with that rain coming through. It pulls away as we go through this evening and overnight. Behind it, the temperatures really starting to fall away as a northwesterly wind sets in. So we're certainly looking at a ground frost and in some spots an air frost by tomorrow morning. Watch out for them for the risk of some icy patches where we've had that rain. But then lots of sunshine for tomorrow. Beautiful day in prospect. Dry and sunny right the way through. Top temperature of 7 Celsius. We stay dry. Quite a bit of cloud though, but still quite pleasant for Wednesday and for Thursday too. And looks like we'll see rain later on Friday.
They can sign up to the armed forces, but can't control who decides on defence policy.
You expect to do all of these adult things, so why can't you vote as an adult as well?
16-year-olds seem to understand politics, but should they have a say in the future of the country?
At the age of 16, you're mature, you're making adult decisions, and there's so much else to it in life.
On Friday, I'll be joined by 2 16-year-olds to debate whether they think the voting age should be lowered.
Yes, I would vote if the age was lowered, as I feel it is important to take part in democracy that could lead to large changes within the country.
We'll hear both sides of the argument and hopefully come to a conclusion.
You don't wake up suddenly at the age of 18 and understand the government, understand political parties, understand the world.
Listen to it all and have your say. Friday morning from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Seriously. Terribly upset stomach this weekend. Terribly. I mean, it was really... My body has given up on me. My voice is going. I've got mouth ulcers. Terribly upset stomach that led to a very awkward situation where I had to leave the boys on their own for a minute. Tough times. Tough times, Justin.
Thing is, boss, you're probably doing a bit too much, aren't you? Probably a little bit run down.
Yeah.
Ulcers. It's a bit of a telltale sign.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, no,
facts.
You're right. Whereabouts are you, Justin? Tell us where you are.
I'm on the streets.
Whereabouts on the streets?
In Luton.
Whereabouts specifically in Luton?
What, do you want a grid reference?
Yes, please.
I'll find you one in half an hour.
Okay, Kels?
Yeah, he's in the car park. I can see him on CCTV. He's got a fag and a coffee.
Hey, Justin!
No, you're lying. You are lying.
No, I just saw you leave the building.
Justin!
Yeah. And I don't mean to,
mate.
you know, coffee. You made coffee, but just...
Come, a selfish cough. A selfish cough, mate. There are young people listening, Justin. It is half term. There are people who, for whatever reason, look up to you as an inspirer. And you are making selfish coffees. You ought to be flipping ashamed of yourself.
Did you enjoy that coffee this morning?
No.
Did you enjoy that last week?
No. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Did you enjoy those Bayesian hobnobs?
The what?
The Bayesian hobnobs?
I don't know what that means.
The hobnobs he apparently brought all the way from Barbados and not from the garage.
You ought to be... There are kids listening, Justin.
Your show was great fun that day.
Now, Justin.
Yes.
We are going on a Justin Dealey's 50 Shades of Mayhem tour next Sunday evening, 5:40, to see 50 Shades of Grey in a top secret cinema location in Luton.
Luton Galaxy, innit?
That's the fella.
Cineworld, yeah.
And you're going, I'm going, Laura's going, a listener, Dave Luton is going.
I'm going.
You're not coming, mate.
Aye.
Dennis and Dunstable.
D-Dog is coming.
Matt in Luton.
Matty Boom Boom is coming. And anybody else can pop along. You can't.
Why?
It's going to be crazy. But, Justin, to give us a little taster of it, you popped and you loitered outside a cinema at the weekend, didn't you? What screening did you go? What time was the screening, mate?
The screening yesterday was the 6 o'clock screening. So what I did, I waited by the exit door for the ladies to come out of the cinema. You said, would my missus take one for the team?
I did, mate. That was a private conversation.
Yeah. Okay, but she has taken one for the team.
What?
Because you said, would you mind not watching it this weekend so we can go on our lads outing next weekend?
Yeah.
So
50 Shades of Mayhem.
50 Shades of Mayhem, yeah. So we haven't been to see it. So I spoke to some ladies yesterday as they left the cinema, and I've got to be honest with you.
Yes, mate.
Some of what was said to me, I cannot broadcast. It was absolutely disgusting.
Beautiful.
I will play you the unedited version later.
No.
But here's what the ladies had to say yesterday. Leslie, I'm J-Dog. How was it for you?
Mediocre. It was too cold in there for a start, and I got a bit distracted and I kept laughing. I found it quite funny.
But they made it cold so the film will warm you up.
Oh, really? They made it cold to distract us. Didn't like that. Anyway, it's all right.
Is your husband at home waiting for you?
No. You're waiting for me.
I'm going, guys. See ya.
See you later.
It wasn't like the book. It came over more of a sort of sadistic relationship as opposed to a erotic, passionate relationship.
Oh, it was fine. Yeah, it's every day, you know.
Every day? Well, your husband's a lucky guy, isn't he?
Yeah, it was all right. Not as good as the book.
Just all right?
Just all right. Not as good as the book. The book was better. It missed loads of bits out that the book had.
So you didn't learn anything new from tonight's experience, no?
No, I read a lot. I read it all in the books.
Now, next weekend, it's Justin Dealey's 50 Shades of Mayhem. I'm hosting that with Iain Lee. Myself and Iain, we're taking 3 men with us who are in their 80s. Do you think they will enjoy this film?
Probably, yeah. It's probably stuff they've all seen and done before.
Especially David Luton, yes. Thank you very much. Take care.
Catherine, just explain to me one of the scenes that may have been cut from the movie.
Yeah, and there's also a scene where they play pool. Well, one of them does.
Hey, I'm getting very, very...
Message to all ladies, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're going to watch the film, if there are men in the cinema, please, we're not pets. Don't stop, don't stare, don't laugh at us. We're just going to enjoy the film just like you.
Just a bunch of guys enjoying an erotic movie.
Just hanging out in the cinema.
Exactly. Nothing unusual.
I say hanging out, I mean going to the cinema.
I mean, this week, the cinema that I went to said they normally get about 6,000 people. It was the Empire in Hemel. Yeah. This week, 16,000 people expected, purely because of this film.
You have got to respect that. Now, listen, we've done none of the stories from the papers. It doesn't matter. Because the big story is David Essex, 67, he's become a dad.
Yeah.
I think that's too old, but he is Britain's premier rock star, so he can do what the hell he wants.
Yeah. Plus, he's got loads of money. I don't think he's going to be worrying about childcare. He could probably spend more time with this kid than the average 30-year-old dad.
Now, Justin, then, because obviously the kids will know who he is. Good morning, teenagers. Some of the mums and dads might not know who David Essex is. They've not quite got their finger on the pulse of rock, hard rock music. Could you give us a little package a bit later on, a David Essex package?
Yeah, it'll be my absolute pleasure.
And I tell you what, we're going to play Hold Me Close.
Yep.
Could you introduce it in your own inimitable but quite imitable style?
Yeah, how long's the build-up on this?
I don't know. Just ride it. Ride David Essex.
Going to go back to the 1970s right now. This is David Essex, Hold Me Close. Exactly what he said to his partner about 9 months ago. Here he is on the streets with the pram doing it rock style. Enjoy across Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
Hold me close, don't let me go. Oh no. Yes, I love you and I think that you know. Do you know with your love light shining, every cloud's got a silver lining. So hold me close, don't let me go. Hold me close, don't let me go. Oh no, you and me. Yes, I love it. We'll stop at the show. Do you know with your love light shining clearly, it's so good to have you near me. So hold me close, don't let me just don't let me go. Oh no, you and me, yes, our love, it will grow and grow. Do you know, with your love light shining, every cloud has a silver lining. So hold me close, hold me closer, hold me close. Don't let me go.
It's for the kids. Doing it for the kids. I'm sorry, mums and dads, grands and grandpas, ladles and jelly spoons. This week, it's all about the kids. Talking about kids' issues, half term, teenage pregnancy. Kissues. Teenage pregnancy, drugs.
Harry Styles,
Haribo. All of the things that really get kids involved and engaged. Pokemon.
Yeah.
Tamagotchis. So, sorry, squares, suits, granddads, and indeed the man. If you're feeling a bit left out this week, well, tough. The show isn't for you. The show is for the youngsters. Kids, give us a call. 08459 455 555.
I'm thinking later on I might even do a Game Boy review.
Yeah, fair play. Why not? And, yes.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's looking really busy on the M1 southbound from junction 12 for Flitwick to 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. All the lanes have been reopened there now, but it's still very slow. On the A1M southbound, it's very busy around junction 7 for Stevenage, and the M25 anti-clockwise is looking heavy on the speed sensors around junction 16 for the M40. On the North Circular Road, there are queues building up between Hendon and the A1 Henley's Corner at Finchley, and on the trains, the London Overground has minor delays between Wilston Junction and Richmond. That's because of a signal failure. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy Bruff does the travel real rough. Kids like jingles, and I'm just giving them what they want. Morning, guys. So, David Essex, a dad at 67. What the? 50 Shades of what the? Anything else you fancy? What the?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Barry Caffrey. The headlines: Stoke Mandeville Hospital accused of putting children at risk. Coach driver released on bail after Saturday's crash on M1 in Bedfordshire. And appeal for CCTV to be installed in a Watford cemetery following robberies.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A Buckinghamshire hospital where Jimmy Savile abused patients is being accused of putting children at risk. The campaign group Mandate Now has been looking into Stoke Mandeville's child protection policy and thinks it's not up to scratch. More from Matt Lockwood.
Mandate Now says that child protection measures at Stoke Mandeville are too vague and leave many uncertainties about who is responsible for protecting children from abuse. Jimmy Savile's abusers at the hospital are thought to have involved more than 60 victims. In response to Mandate Now, Bucks Healthcare NHS Trust says it takes the protection of children very seriously and internal processes have been strengthened.
The coach driver arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1, in which 2 men from Buckinghamshire died, has been released on bail. A third man is in a critical but stable condition at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. Claire Woodling reports.
The 3 men, who were in their 20s, were returning to Buckinghamshire after a night out in London. None of the victims will be named until formal identification has taken place and inquests are opened and adjourned, which will be early this week. No one on the coach, which was travelling from Kent and had 63 people on board, was hurt. Police are continuing to appeal for witnesses to the collision, which happened at 6:45 on Saturday morning on the northbound hard shoulder between junctions 12 and 13, closing the road for several hours.
In the past hour, Egypt says it has bombed jihadists in neighbouring Libya after militants there, allied to Islamic State, murdered a group of Egyptian Coptic Christians. The Egypt's President al-Sisi has threatened retaliation after a video was released apparently showing at least 10 Copts being beheaded. A 17-year-old boy is due to stand trial today for the murder of an 18-year-old in Watford. Akil Khan was found with fatal stab wounds in Croxley View last August and died at Watford General a short time later. The boy, who lives in Watford, denies the charges. A Hertfordshire family says CCTV cameras are the only way to stop flowers being stolen from relatives' graves at the North Watford Cemetery. Silk flowers worth £250 were taken from Carlo Manfrey's grave in 2 separate incidents, having been left there by his family. More from Iain Duncan.
Jordan Manfrey said his mother was left in tears after the thefts and scared to put anything else on the grave. Watford Borough Council's increasing its ranger patrols and beginning a detailed review of its cemeteries, which will look at security issues. Hertfordshire Police are investigating the 2 thefts in January and earlier this month and are appealing for information.
Thameslink Trains, which operate services from Bedford into London, has been named as one of the worst performers in a survey by the Consumers Association, which, the survey of 7,000 travellers, says commuters are being driven to distraction by poor service on the railways. And the weather forecast staying cloudy and misty this morning with areas of fog slowly clearing. It'll be a rainy day today with highs of 7 Celsius, that's 45 in Fahrenheit. BBC Three Counties Radio News. I'll be back with headlines and a full sports bulletin at 7:30.
Kelly Betts and I have just shared stories we can't share on the air. I mean, but let's just say I had a very upset stomach this weekend. And so did a friend of hers, who was lifting a wardrobe up some stairs. Just been reminded, thank you, Tim, David Essex, of course, who's one of his other sons? Joey Essex. There we go. Thank you, Tim. So, David Essex is 67. What's the phoning you've come up with, Kath?
David Essex is a dad at 67. How old's your dad? Call me now.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we need. That's all we need.
Beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties
How
Radio.
old is your dad?
I can start you off. My dad is 60. That's 60.
60. We're playing Dad Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get, here we go, this is it. Can we get all of the ages between 19 to 90 before the end of the show? That's what we'll do. We'll tick them off. You can own a dad's age. We're going to give away dad's ages between 19 and 90. How old is your dad? First come, first serve. 08459 455 555. Or of course, you can send us the old Textingtons 81333. Start your Textingtons 3CR. Have we got any Textingtons to look at?
I don't know. I need to have a look.
Okay, well, that's fine. We've got lots of kids off of school this week, so, hey, why not text us?
They like to text, right?
Text us. How old is your dad? Now, a pressure group is warning that children are being put at risk at Stoke Mandeville Hospital despite the crimes committed there by Jimmy Savile and Dr Michael Salmon being exposed. Mandate Now is speaking out ahead of the publication of 2 reports into abuse at the hospital and is concerned child protection policy is still not up to scratch. Well, from Mandate Now, we've got Tom Perry. Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Iain.
So what have you uncovered? What has Mandate Now found?
Well, the answer is very little change. Let me just give you the backdrop, if I may, very briefly.
Yeah, go on.
The statutory framework hasn't changed. The statutory framework on which child protection is apparently grounded hasn't changed for 65 years. There is no requirement on anyone to report known or suspected abuse of a child to anybody. Now, that's our starting point. And
that's Mandate Now's kind of primary position, isn't it? You want to make that a law.
We want to change that.
Yeah.
We want to change that. And actually yesterday the government, in the form of Yvette Cooper, came out to say that this is now going to be part of the Labour Party's election manifesto.
Okay.
So that's a step in the right direction. The Lib Dems have already gone that way. The Conservatives have yet to go that way. We're attempting very hard to persuade them. So we have a framework that's not working. It's why we have a child sex abuse inquiry in England, Wales, Scotland, and in fact going a little further because they adopted the English model, Jersey, St Helena, and also formerly Australia, which adopted the English model, and all of those countries have now got child sex abuse inquiries. Now, very simply, if no one is required to report, i.e. the report is discretionary, it means that everybody in the place is a whistleblower. Now, we've looked at the child protection policy, and in fact, I wrote to Kate Lampard on the 21st of January 2013, drawing to her attention the flaws in the then child protection policy at Stoke Mandeville, and I have to say that was the most appalling document. And what has improved since then? Well, candidly with you, I still have no clue to whom I, as an individual, as a patient at the hospital, would wish to report. I have no idea what happens after that. I have no idea of the processes. The whole thing is a sort of conflation of wool. And if anybody can actually discern anything from it, and bearing in mind that I understand this subject extremely well, and the legal framework, if anybody understands it, good luck, because I don't. And the only people that can hold the hospital to account for the quality of its care and child protection and the protection of vulnerable adults are, in fact, the patients.
Tom, why do you think that this needs to be made compulsory? Why are some people reluctant to report this stuff anyway?
Because everything gets in the way. So much gets in the way of reporting. Self-preservation being one thing. Look, if you're a whistleblower, you're effectively going rogue. You have to go rogue to become a whistleblower. You're stepping outside the norms. You then blow the whistle to your bosses, and then the bosses then look at this. And, of course, if you're a whistleblower, by default, you're taking the news nobody wants to hear to the administration that doesn't want to hear it. Now, this is part of the problem. I suspect when the Stoke Mandeville report is released, which is believed to be this week, I suspect we will hear, in fact I'm certain we will hear, a number of occasions when reports were made and staff did nothing. We've also heard, as we know, and it's been well and widely reported, that nurses were telling children to pretend to be asleep if he comes around. Now, when you're faced with this, reporting when you may be a single parent with a job. I mean, this is a very difficult business. And by having no law, by grounding everything on discretionary reporting, effectively what's happening is that you're expecting people to wear sort of blue underpants and blue capes and to be a superhero. People aren't. We need everybody on the same side. So, in other words, the administration and the staff on the same side to report those people who are suspected of abuse, who may well indeed it may be proven that they are criminals. That's what we need. The policy that we've got here at Stoke Mandeville presently, frankly, to put it bluntly, is a shambles. But it's permitted to be a shambles by a very undemanding statutory framework.
Why is it still a shambles, Tom? Why haven't Stoke Mandeville done something? Because obviously the Jimmy Savile story was incredible. Then you've got this paediatrician, Michael Salmon, who would quite often abuse young children behind the curtain while their parents were on the other side. These are awful, awful scandals in what used to be regarded as one of the greatest institutions in this country, one of the best hospitals. Why has someone not steamed in and said, right, we need to work from the bottom up and sort this out?
Well, in very simple terms, the Care Quality Commission has gone in. I've read the Care Quality Commission's input into Stoke Mandeville, and they have sort of given Stoke Mandeville a tacit tick, saying that their safeguarding is good. Well, bearing in mind that safeguarding is rarely, as I've said to you, the demands of the statutory framework are so weak. I mean, any organisation that passes a Care Quality Commission inspection, of which part of it is safeguarding, and that safeguarding gets a tick, frankly, any organisation that would fail it would, it would be quite bewildering, because most organisations are made to look like, even if it's a geriatric donkey, is made to look like Arkle after a Care Quality Commission inspection. The standards are exceptionally poor. We know that at Addenbrooke's we had, once again, we had a cancer specialist behind a curtain abusing boys. Look, we do have a problem because in institutions we sort of give them an unquestioning respect for the authority of them. And there's the first danger. I mean, it's very interesting that Justice McClellan in Australia, who's running the Royal Commission in Australia into child abuse, he has effectively described these settings, institutional settings, as high-risk locations. They absolutely are, because they're target-rich environments for those with an unhealthy interest in the young.
I'm not a great fan of conspiracy theories, Tom, but I'm really starting to believe the conspiracy theorists who talk about this kind of institutionalised attitude towards child abuse, that it goes really, really high. And no one wants to sort it out because it would, we would all be shocked by exactly who's been involved in it.
Well, if you look at the child abuse inquiry, and I met Justice Goddard before the meeting that she had with the Home Affairs Select Committee. This was, I think, last week. I mean, days are flying by. Yes, I think it was last week. And here we have someone who's been brought in to turn over all the stones and to go where the slime is. We will find out. I'm not a conspiracist, but I'm absolutely convinced that we are going to be profoundly shocked when things are starting to be revealed.
Interesting, the timing of the appointment, of course, with recent events and people who were integral to the investigation having passed away. Tom, listen, I could talk to you all morning. It's fascinating. Thank you very much indeed. Tom Perry from Mandate Now, saying that the security at Stoke Mandeville, in terms of the protection of children and the ability to report child abuse there, is shocking.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I tend to believe that we landed on the moon. I tend to believe a handful of nut jobs crashed those planes into the Twin Towers. But come on, man. You'd be hard pushed not to think there was some kind of cover-up in this whole VIP child abuse scandal, wouldn't you? Catherine, do we have anything on the Texas?
Yeah, we do. What's really taken off this morning?
How old's your dad?
How old's your dad?
Right, we want to find a dad between 19 and 90 and every number in between. Okay. What have we got?
We've got 60 so far, haven't we? That's my dad.
Right, so hang on. Kath's dad is 60. Yep.
Linda.
Yep.
83.
Linda's dad, 83. Yep.
Ben in Buckingham.
Yep.
Young dad, 58.
58. Ben, yes, Ben?
We've also got some tweets.
I'm writing these all down. I've got no idea why.
Because we're going to play Dad Bingo.
And I love the fact that none of you are mentioning your dad's names, which makes it even better.
Doesn't matter, just want his age.
Yep.
88, says Lorraine.
88.
And Jamie's saying 75. The phones are ringing off the hook.
75. That was Jane. OK, right. Well, thank you very much. Oh, thank you, Kelly Betts. Huh?
Welcome.
Why are you saying it with the cob on?
Oh, no, I'm not.
There's a little bit of attitude there.
No, you're welcome.
What is that?
You're welcome.
But what is that?
What?
I don't understand what that is.
What?
Where does this attitude come from?
What do you mean? You're welcome.
You're dismissed.
Thank you. Idiot.
What?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, it's very slow from junction 12 for Flitwick to Dunstable Road, although it has a lane be reopened there now, but it's still looking very slow. The M1 northbound has a lane closed at the Watford Gap services because of an accident. And looking at the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very slow from junction 21A for the St Albans junction and 18 for Chorleywood. It's also looking very foggy there, looking at the cameras. On the A1 Great North Road, it's very slow from the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. And on the trains, the London Overground has minor delays between Wilston Junction and Richmond. That's because of a signal failure. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Samantha?
Yes?
Is your dad still with us?
Yes.
Can I ask how old is your... We're playing How Old Is Your Dad? Dad Bingo, and we want to find a dad age between 19 and 90. How old's your dad?
He's 54.
Hey, we haven't got that one. Beautiful. You're in. Thank you very much. I'm actually writing these all out neat. What a pointless exercise this is. We'll take a picture of it and tweet it later on. I'm going to be saying to 7:16. It's Monday, the 16th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The campaign group Mandate Now is accusing Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire of putting children at risk. And the coach driver arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1 has been released on bail.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's that time of the year again where we all lower our expectations of what we think is funny.
This lady is making her face funny for money this Red Nose Day.
Right, let's get started.
Oh yes, green and purple hair is a classic combination.
Yeah, lovely.
There are many ways you can raise money, like getting sponsored by all your friends and family.
That looks gorgeous.
If she keeps this up all day, she'll raise loads of cash.
Ow.
What a stylish blue moustache underneath the red nose.
Ta-da! What do you think?
Simply ravishing.
Thank you.
For lots of ways you can make your face funny for money this Red Nose Day, and to get your free fundraising kit, go to bbc.co.uk/Red Nose Day.
Oh, it raises a lot of money, and that's got to be good.
It's excellent.
I'm just writing down all
Mr. T's trying to insert his granddad into the proceedings. I don't know whether that's allowed, is it?
No, of course it's not allowed. Just T, jog on, you fool.
But an interesting point.
Yeah.
This is what he's saying.
Yeah.
My granddad had my mum at 68. Then again, he was an old-school West Indian playboy. Wow.
I'm just writing down numbers.
Hashtag no shame.
Okay.
Foxy, also known as Claire Bear, says her dad is 79.
79. Who's that? Care Bears?
Claire Bear.
Foxy.
Yeah.
Foxy Bingo. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got that. That's
got
all
that
sorted.
One. Yep. Okay.
I mean, there's no reason for doing that. We're just checking, really, aren't we?
So far, we've got Samantha's dad is 54, Ben's dad is 58, your dad, Catherine, is 60. Mm-hmm. Keith is 64, Jane is 75, Foxy is 79, Linda is 83, and Lorraine's dad is 88. I'm thinking, I feel a bit bad because my dad can't go on there because he's passed away. We're missing out all the dads that passed away.
Well, we're not, because Jamie's has as well. He said he would have been 75. Can we not include deceased dads?
What was Jamie?
Jamie, 75.
That was Jane?
No, Jamie.
You said Jane?
Jamie?
I'm going to cross that off.
No.
I'm really sorry. I don't take this as a personal slur against your dad. They've got to be live. They have to. But I'm trying to think, maybe we can have dead dad substitutes. I don't know, because I want my dad on the list, but I can't put him on the list. We'll have a think. We'll involve dads that have passed on some way, somehow, but they can't go on the main list. I'm really sorry.
Because it would be disrespectful to David Essex. Is that right?
Exactly. Thank you. Mark's in Milton Keynes. Good morning, Mark.
Hi, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
Yeah, you were talking about reporting abuse to children.
Yes. If anyone is suspicious, Mandate Now would like to make it law that you have to report it.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good thing, but I also think the local authority have got a duty to follow it up, because in my case, they didn't follow up concerns regarding my children.
So what happened to you, Mark?
Basically, the local authority a couple of years back raised concerns that my children was coming into contact with a family member of my ex-partner. They'd done a contract to say that basically this person wasn't allowed near them as such. My ex-partner went on to actually break this contract that was in place, and then the local authority decided to do nothing about it apart from close the social services file.
This relative, don't give us any names or anything, obviously, but what was he? Was he a known sex offender? Was he on the register?
Yes, he'd actually been to prison for statutory rape on a minor.
Why would your ex-wife then choose to allow him to have contact with the kids?
I don't know why she done it, but what I do know is that I found out that the contract had been broken. I reported it to the local authority.
Yeah.
The local authority done nothing about it. I even got a local MP involved, who was written to by the chairperson of the local authority to do with children's services, and he was told that there was investigating, but they actually done nothing about it. And a few months later, they actually closed the file. I've since had to go to the county court to get a preventive measures court order in place. because the local authority wouldn't enforce the contract that they'd done.
And I'm guessing that no specific law was being broken, so the police couldn't do anything about it.
No, I did actually speak to the child protection unit at the police, but this contract was it was a so-called voluntary contract.
Okay. So ultimately pointless.
Yeah, but the local authority put this contract in place. It was signed by the Children's Services Department, but then when it wasn't stuck to, then the local authority decided to do nothing about it.
That must have been... well, no, actually, I don't know how old they were. That must have been worrying for you as their dad, knowing they were having contact with, thoroughly unpleasant gentlemen.
Well, you don't actually know the half of what's going on, Ian, because it actually transpired later when we went down the legal route to the court. It has actually came to light that there was a contract that actually existed prior to the start of my relationship with my ex-partner as well.
Oh, blimey. Mark, listen, I appreciate your telling us your story there. It was always amazing, this job, that the things that people are prepared to share, and I'm always grateful. Have we got any texts before we move on?
Loads, yeah. We've got one from Helen here.
Morning, Helen.
Which was about the subject that Mark was talking about there.
Yeah.
He said, if the responsibility for reporting abuse and maltreatment is reliant upon the management team who may lose their posts, then the outcome is denial, dismissal of whistleblowers and cover-up. Why not mandate, says Helen Milkins?
No, well, the converse argument would be that, hey, if I talk about kids a lot and I like kids and I'm talking about kids a lot, someone might think that was suspicious and report me when I'm just a bloke who likes kids, genuinely gets pleasure from kids, with no, nothing dirty about it at all. So, I don't know.
If the worst thing that can happen is that you're offended or embarrassed... then isn't that a good outcome?
What if you get, but what if you get
But then, what if your life gets taken apart?
What if you get hauled in? All it takes... I remember ages ago, I had some nut job when I worked at another radio station who wrote to me and said they hated me. And he made the mistake of saying, I'm going to tell the police that you're a paedophile. And I was terrified, right? So I went to the police immediately and showed them this email. Now, my fear was the police coming to my house and walking out of my house with my computers in plastic bags. Because once that's been seen... you're a paedophile. Whatever is proved or disproved, you have pictures of your computers being taken out of your house in a plastic bag, you're a paedo. In everyone's mind.
The other thing...
No smoke without fire.
The other thing is, if you're the person who has suspicions...
Yeah.
The torment you go through thinking, am I gonna flag this up? How sure am I?
It's a tough one, isn't it?
We've all been in situations where something odd's happened and you thought, should I flag this up? And what am I going to say? And who's going to believe me?
08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, this is an incredible story. Love your thoughts on this. There are calls for CCTV cameras to be installed at Hertfordshire Cemetery, where grieving relatives have had things stolen from graves. Let that just sink in for a second. They've gone and they've put, things, flowers, bits and pieces on graves, and they've been nicked. On two separate occasions, thieves have taken silk flowers from the grave of Carlo Manfrey at the North Watford Cemetery. Well, we can speak to his son, Jordan, now. Morning, Jordan.
Hi, morning.
How long ago did Dad pass away?
He passed away on the 30th of November 2013.
OK, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I lost my dad a couple of years ago, and it's always a tough thing, so I'm sorry about that. Your situation is made even worse, though, by... Well, tell us what's been happening, Jordan.
So in around beginning of January this year, my mum thought it'd be a nice thing to go and put some fake flowers down there, just to spruce up the grave a little bit. And within about 2 weeks, they were stolen. So 2nd of February just gone. My mum thought, do you know what? I'm not going to let them get the better of me. Went and spent quite a lot of money on a lot more flowers to put down at the grave to make it look good, make it a nice place to go to. And literally within a week, the majority of them have been stolen. And there was one bunch left.
Yeah.
And yesterday they got taken. So three times now in the space of, 2 months.
How's it affected your mum?
She's devastated. I got a phone call on 2 separate occasions. She was crying down the phone. She was more annoyed at the fact, not of the money, but, you know, someone's disrespected sort of the grave, and, you know, there's pictures on the headstone of my dad, so, you know, that they've walked up and seen pictures of my dad and looked him in the eye and still thought, you know what, I'll have these, I'll take them home, or do whatever they've been doing with them.
And how's it made you feel, Jordan, as his son?
A mixture of anger and annoyance, because obviously that's a place that you go down there to, you know, think of your loved ones, take time to reflect, and seeing my mum upset, you know, after what we've been through, it was bad enough when it all happened, but now, you know, just to sort of rub salt in the wound, as it were, has made it a lot worse, you know. Makes me not want to go down there as much. Obviously, you know, my family aren't going to be safe down there.
Well, I would like to imagine that everyone is going to be physically safe, but the fact that these scumbags are nicking these flowers is, well, it's awful. It's awful. What would you like to see done, Jordan?
Well, they have said that they've obviously upped foot patrols.
This is Watford Borough Council, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that's sort of irrelevant, because who are they to know everyone in that cemetery walking up to every sort of plot? Anyone could walk up to any plot, pick up whatever they wanted and put it in a car, and they could just think that's a relative. But CCTV for me would be the best option, because, you know, it doesn't need to be manned, it doesn't cost sort of manpower to look at it. If an incident occurs, you can then go down, look at the CCTV and say, that's not my family member, I don't know that person, taking stuff off of my loved one's grave.
I suppose the problems, just coming from the opposite direction, is I would imagine there are two problems. One would be money, and some people might consider it to be an intrusion on their privacy. Have you considered those those factors?
I mean, it does cost a lot of money to put a headstone down there. You know, you're talking a few £1,000s to have a plot, and that's sort of, you know, that's the maintenance, the safety. And I mean, if you're paying for a service and you don't get it,
you're right.
Sort of, it's made redundant, and, you know.
What's going to happen next, Jordan? Are you and Mum going to carry on putting flowers on the grave, or have you kind of given up on that idea?
My mum has said, you know, she doesn't want to keep on sort of feeding this person, basically, you know, money to their hands, basically. So she's sort of upset about it. Says she's going to leave it for maybe a year, maybe a bit longer, and that's upsetting itself.
Oh,
you know, that the fact that my dad's grave is not going to be sort of nice and pretty just because of, you know, someone's been stealing everything, and we can't afford to keep on putting stuff down and it being stolen within a week, 2 weeks.
I'm really sorry to hear this, Jordan. It's a horrible story, and you know, I hope it gets sorted, and that you and your mum can, you know, and the rest of your family can find a bit of peace around this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time, Jordan. What utter scumbags! What utter scumbags! That poor family. Isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
And
so now they walk up there dreading what they're going to find or not find.
The fact that his mum's reluctant to go to the grave of her husband, who died less than, 18 months, 14, 15 months ago. Isn't that terrible?
It does make it worse that there's a picture of him there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, you go... I've not been to a cemetery for ages. When I used to live in North London, we'd go to Highgate Cemetery, because, you know, it was kind of a nice thing to do. And you'd walk around and you see flowers on graves, and you'd see toys, you know, little teddy bears on graves, and you think, oh, you know, that's sad, that's nice, that's beautiful.
Someone still loves them.
Someone to think, oh, that looks... Do you know what? That would look nice in my home, that.
How could they?
I love that. Blimey. 08459 455 555. Let's get the Trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's starting to look very slow on the M1 southbound approaching junction 12 now. We've just had calls from Mark and Iain saying that the M1 southbound has been an accident just near junction 12 for Flitwick, so we'll have an update on that with you. They report that it's with 3 cars and a van blocking 2 lanes. On the M1 northbound, there's a lane closed at the Watford Gap services because of an accident that's causing delays, and the M25 anti-clockwise has queues building up between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. On the A40 Western Avenue, there's also queues between from the Denham roundabout towards the M25, and the A1 Great North Road is looking very slow through the roadworks from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey. Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30 with the headlines. I'm Barry Caffrey. A Buckinghamshire hospital where Jimmy Savile abused patients is being accused of putting children at risk. The campaign group Mandate Now says that child protection measures at Stoke Mandeville are too vague and leave many uncertainties about who is responsible for protecting children from abuse. Buckinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust says it takes the protection of children very seriously and internal processes have been strengthened. The coach driver arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1 in which 2 men from Buckinghamshire died has been released on bail. A third man is in a critical but stable condition at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. Egypt says it has bombed weapons caches and training camps in Libya in response to the killing there of at least 10 Egyptian Coptic Christians. They were among 21 kidnapped in recent weeks by jihadis loyal to Islamic State. A Hertfordshire family says CCTV cameras are the only way to stop flowers being stolen from relatives' graves at the North Watford Cemetery. Silk flowers worth £250 were taken from Carlo Manfrey's grave in 2 separate incidents, having been left there by his family. And the weather staying cloudy and misty this morning with areas of fog slowly clearing. It'll be a rainy day today with highs of 7 Celsius, that's 45 in Fahrenheit.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Luton Town moved up to 4th in League 2 after Saturday's 1-0 home win against Carlisle. Mark Cullen scored the goal, but centre-back Luke Wilkinson was sent off for bringing down Anthony Sweeney midway through the second half. Though the Hatters boss John Still was pleased that Cameron McGeehan is returning to the club.
No, it's a great signing for us, and if I look at Michael Harriman, that we're trying to do the same sort of thing with Luke Wilkinson that came in earlier this year, Cameron McGeehan, Pelly Ruddock, Mark Cullen, there's a pattern emerging of young, hungry, ambitious players that, I think can carry the club a long, long way. I really do.
2 goals in 2 minutes from Olivier Giroud saw FA Cup holders Arsenal safely through to the last 8. They beat Middlesbrough 2-0 at the Emirates, and manager Arsene Wenger says he felt obliged to name a strong side despite facing lower league opposition.
You go out at home in the FA Cup when you are the holders, that wouldn't look good, and I feel we are the holders of the trophy. We want to give absolutely everything to keep it. On top of that, at the moment, in every single game, in every single position, I have a choice to make between 2 players who are top quality.
Ireland have got their Cricket World Cup campaign off to a winning start with a famous victory over West Indies. They beat the 2-time champions by 4 wickets in Nelson, with the winning runs coming from John Mooney. Chasing 305 to win, Ireland coasted home with Paul Sterling making 92, Ed Joyce 84 and Niall O'Brien not out on 79. Meanwhile, England one-day captain Owen Morgan and Kevin Peterson have both been picked to play for Sunrisers Hyderabad in this year's Indian Premier League. To the Six Nations, and Wales have got their first points of the championship after suffering a home loss to England on the opening weekend. They narrowly beat Scotland 26-23 at Murrayfield. BBC 3 Counties Radio News and Sport. I'm back with a full bulletin at 8 o'clock.
Was a wealthy man who had a wonderful idea to bring children from all places with all kinds of faces together into a sailing ship. There were 40 boys and girls. They would sail their ship around the globe, so they called it the United World. The ship was just 3 weeks from shore when a hurricane bore it down. The waves were big as mountains. Surely drown. They jumped into the lifeboats, rowed away from the wreck. They didn't count them, they hadn't time. 5 children were left behind. The children fought the storm all night and finally fell asleep. They didn't realize the ship had been blown across a reef into the bushes was a watchful pair of eyes. And living in the valley were people lost in time, ruled over by a tyrant whose face was in a mask. The children must defeat him so they can escape at last from the lost islands. The lost islands.
You doing a bit of colouring in there?
No, I'm just finishing. I'm drawing up. I'm going to take another picture of this. I've just finished the How Old Is Your Dad
No,
chart.
you're not, because we've got loads more.
Well, no, I've just written all the numbers out.
All right.
So,
Have you put mine on there?
No, how old's your dad?
57, I think. I'm still waiting for a text for confirmation.
Okay, Kelly, what else have we got? We're asking how old is your dad? David Essex is 67.
We're not accepting chickens, are we?
No, and we're not accepting dead dads.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So, sorry, Leighton Chooks. We didn't know our chicken dad, but our human dad is 33.
No.
Sorry, Rebecca and Ella. Not counting. Gary says my dad is 67. Gary.
Gary 67, yes, thanks.
Bianca's dad's 46. A youngster.
Yeah, got that one.
Okay. And we've got loads on the Texas. Do you want to see those?
Yeah, just give them to me, baby.
All right,
I'm just
here
going to tweet the list so far. Go.
Sadly, if you're not put your name on, we don't know whose dad it is, so we can't
do it, you plums.
Joe, my dad's 94 and he's fit and well.
We were only going up to 90. All right, let's go up to 100. Let's aim big. 91, 92, 93, 94. Joe.
Disco Dave.
Yep.
67.
It's gone, mate. Sorry. Sorry, mate. That means we have to put your dad in a box and you can't see him for a year.
This could be bad because Martin in Limbury's dad celebrated his birthday yesterday and he could be very upset if he's not allowed to be joining.
Yeah, go on.
78.
Martin, yeah, that's fine. We'll have that one. Yeah, beautiful.
Anita says her dad's 48.
Anita, yeah, lovely. 48,
and
beautiful.
Chris from Milton Keynes, dad's 72.
72. Chris. Okay, who was it? 67?
67 was Disco Dave.
Okay, so we're going to have shameful dads, and these are people who don't love their dads. They got in. No,
they got in too late.
They got in too late, so they don't love their dads.
I mean, Disco Dave gave us some extra detail, saying that he's 51 this year. So you do the maths.
Disco Dave. What was he? 67.
67.
Shame on your dad. I'm going to call that, and we'll shame on your dad. Okay, and that's in a little box there, so that's not too big. That means you got in too late and you don't love your dad.
Oh.
81333. Start your text 3CR. Chris is on the line. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Ian.
Good morning, Chris. What you got?
Well, I used to be an ambulance driver, but it was a patient that had appointments that I used to take.
Oh, yeah.
Any time I took a child under the age of 16, they had to be escorted, even though I was a woman and I'd been top CRB, right, we had to travel with an escort. And it was the same with doctors when they were examining a child.
Yep.
They used to have to at least be a nurse with them. So I don't understand how this could have all happened if they put the same things into place as were at our hospital. I thought it was mandatory that was done.
When I did voluntary work at Great Ormond Street, and we were all CRB'd and stuff, and we had to go in pairs. You had to be able to see the other person at all times. But I've taken my boys to see doctors, and it's just been a doctor.
Yeah, well, at the hospital I was working at, you had to have a female nurse. I actually had an operation there myself, and when I was being examined, it was by a female doctor, but I also had a nurse there as well because it was like internal.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just to cover yourself. But I did find that even at this hospital, which was brilliant that I worked at, that when the bods came round from the government to check, they basically got taken off for a nice tea and cake.
Oh, yeah.
And they were led around by the nose to where the management wanted them to go. It should be that they go into a hospital and they decide where they're going, shown where they're seeing.
Chris, can I just say how marvellous it is for you not to be shouting at me one morning?
No, I just had a naturally high voice, darling.
It shows that you are learning, and it shows... No, listen. It shows that you are learning, shows that you accept that you were wrong, and that I...
Chris, let him have it, go on.
And that I am a positive...
Listen, you misogynistic git. Right?
All right, love, calm down.
Catherine has every right to go and see 50 Shades of Grey with you.
No, don't start that nonsense, love. I was paying you a compliment. Telling you how I had made your life better and made you a better person, and now you start spewing a load of old guff out of your mouth. I'll button it. I'll button it.
The reason
Cut her off.
I was calm was because it was a serious subject.
Right, well, we'll button it.
Oh, well, there you go. Just do all over you, childish.
What did you call me?
A childish,
Yes.
moronic.
Oh. Why has she not been cut off? Cut her off now.
We love you,
No,
Chris.
go.
Cut.
Hey, you keep me on, girl.
Cut her off now.
We will go paintballing.
It's all right. We've cut him off, Chris. We've cut Iain off.
Good. Okay, doll.
So when we go paintballing then?
Well, I tell you what, how about next Sunday when he's going sitting with his old geezers in the cinema watching his 50 Shades of Grey, we'll have 50 Shades of different colour paintball.
That sounds like a really good idea.
50 Shades of ouch.
Yeah, not the face though. You saw like a grove.
We're doing Frank Manley, aren't we?
Yeah.
More than he can do. He's got to sit there with the girlies, and I bet he's wetting himself that they're going to start molesting him in there.
Can we?
Oh, no, he's doing this, Chris.
Can we do go-karting as well?
Yeah, mate. Anything that's boyish, just to shut them up.
Yeah,
you
let's
know
show
what I mean? Yeah. And he's got his old geezers club, isn't he?
Yeah.
Dave, Dennis, Matt, right? And if he thinks that's going to protect him, they're just going to go and hide in the toilets and leave him and Dave there to be molested by all these young, excitable women. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
But we'll go do the boy stuff. We could go abseiling.
There's no one going to be molesting us, that's for sure.
Well, you know, women are desperate. I used to be in the military and you should have seen
She's as common as muck.
And isn't it glorious?
08459 455 555.
Did you hear what she said there? She'd be in the military. She could have you.
Anytime she wants, baby. Dave's dad is 61.
Good for him. This is good, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I don't. Well, it's good. I don't know if it's great radio.
Kay says her dad, or his, I don't know, is 96.
Yeah.
Have we got a 96?
We have to go up.
They're getting older and older.
95, 96. Well, let's see if we can make 100. 97, 98, 99, 100. Who's 96?
Kay's dad.
Kay. And Dee's dad on Twitter is 86.
Nice. Well, good ages. Some really good ages there, guys. Thanks very much.
Some great ages. My favourites are Ben at 58, Gary at 67, and Chris at 72.
I love that one. Yeah, that's great.
We're literally filling radio air by saying numbers.
And what beautiful numbers they are.
08459 455 555. I've done the list. I've done the list between 16 and 100.
No teen dads yet.
Well, I did write 13, 14, 15. I crossed it out.
Mistake you're making.
Yep.
16-year-olds, their kids aren't going to be able to pick up the phone yet, are they?
Well, no, but then in that case, the dads can phone up and nominate themselves.
Right, OK.
But, and there are a lot of teenagers listening because it's half term. I'm guessing they've listened to my advice.
Oh.
And they've put something on the end of it. Sensible. Well done, guys.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there are 4-mile queues approaching junction 12 for Flitwick because of an accident which has closed 2 lanes. It's between 4 cars and a transit van. On the M1 northbound, there's a lane closed at the Watford Gap services because of an accident with some queues building up on the approach. And the M25 anti-clockwise, that's looking very slow between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 15 for the M4. Into High Wycombe on Amersham Hill, that's looking very slow. And also in Stevenage on Hitchin Road, it's busy looking at speed sensors in both directions around Ingleside Drive and Corey Mills Lane. No reports of any major delays on the trains, though. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. 7:45, Monday the 16th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Campaigners claim Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire is still putting children at risk years after the abuse carried out by Jimmy Savile. An inquest will be opened this week into the deaths of 3 men killed in a crash on the M1 in Bedfordshire at the weekend. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Herts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, thanks very much indeed. Good morning to you. There are some mist and fog patches around across the 3 counties this morning. Certainly something to be aware of. Do watch out for them. No Met Office weather warning in force, not widespread, but you might encounter a little bit here and there as you start this morning. We've got some cloud to move towards us as we go through the breakfast time period, and then rain spreading in from mid-morning onwards in from the west with us right the way through the afternoon into the evening commute too, and clearing away later this evening into the early hours of tomorrow morning. So not a great day for today. Top temperature of 6 or 7 Celsius, not feeling brilliant as that rain comes through. Behind it, a northwesterly wind sets in, much colder air moving towards us, a chilly, icy potentially start first thing tomorrow morning, but then a dry day with lots of sunshine. Lovely day for tomorrow, complete contrast to today. Top temperature of 6 or 7 degrees. We stay dry for Wednesday and for Thursday typically too, with a southwesterly wind starting to set in, so temperatures up to 8, possibly 9 degrees. Quite a bit of cloud though, and then looks like we'll see some rain late on Thursday or start of things on Friday.
How old's your dad?
He's 66.
I've just given 66 away to Iain, I'm afraid. I've got to put you in the shame on your dad box.
Oh no.
I know, I'm really sorry, but it's them's the rules.
But I'm working and everything for you.
I'll tell you what, yeah, I'll bump Iain off, I'll put you on. Is that all right? No worries. Come on, it's the BBC.
It's a shame Iain didn't love his dad a bit more.
Isn't it just?
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Do we really need public libraries anymore? Tell us what you think this morning.
Get behind your local station and help crack these clues. Let's see who can find the treasure first.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
What a show today. We go back to the 70s for our chart rundown.
So when did you start making music?
About 2 years ago, I started recording on my brother's 8-track.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
You held a service in a vodka bar this week, is that right?
The OJ's Extraordinary Girl. Isn't that a terrific sound? Completing the menu today, a lovely coq au vin and rhubarb and custard on toast topped with a meringue.
I don't want anyone messing with my brain if they don't understand how it works.
Last year, the IPCC dropped an investigation into your conduct.
Black and minority students must get better results than their white peers in order to get into university.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC.
This is Kieran's dad is 71. Beautiful. Thank you, Kieran. This is turning nasty. Just remind us why we're doing this, please. Oh, hang on. Just remind us why we're doing it, please.
David Essex is a dad and he's 67.
So we're asking...
Newsworthy. So, how old's your dad?
Right.
Newsworthy.
Now, we've got a list between 16 and 100, and boy, oh boy, they're filling up quickly.
The teenagers are letting the side down or helping with the figures.
Only one dad per figure, please. And if you get in too late, you go in the shame on your dad box. And that means you don't love your dad as much as normal
Someone who
people
called
do.
earlier, yeah.
Well, now, Anne-Marie's on Twitter going, well, where's mine? He's 46. Well... And, the thing is, Bianca is written down, but Anne-Marie may have got him first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little cheat with Anne-Marie. She says he's 47th on the 26th. So I'm going to give her 47. A preemptive 47.
OK, but you shouldn't start people-pleasing at this point. We've got to be harsh.
No, I know, but...
Because this list is going to go haywire.
Yeah, I know.
And there'll be all kinds of people asking for special privileges.
I've got to say, Paul, 72...
OK.
Sorry, mate, that's too late. That one's gone already.
Let me get
Chris
some
has
texts
got that.
in,
Okay.
quick. Danny from Houghton Regis' dad is 59.
Hang on a minute, Danny. Yeah, you can have that. Hey, the 50s are doing really well.
Excellent.
The 50s really are shining. Thank you, guys.
My dad is 82, says Bev in High Wycombe.
Yeah, Bev, you love your dad.
OK. And Karen in Welwyn Garden City, very hopeful. My dad is 70.
Karen, yeah, you love your dad.
Can she have her dad-in-law in there as well? No, just your own dad.
No,
Greedy,
and the fact that you've just tried to include your dad and your father-in-law means you get put in the shame on your dad.
Oh, Karen.
Karen, you tried to be greedy, mate. You don't. 70 is still up for grabs.
Them's the breaks.
Should we read through the names?
Yes.
Literally reading names of people we have no idea who they are and numbers.
Go on.
Bianca, 46. Anne-Marie, her dad's 47. Anita, her dad is 48.
Good.
Samantha's dad is 54. Kelly's dad is 57, we think.
I think he might be 56.
Ben's dad is 58, Danny's dad is 59, Kath's dad is 60, Dave's dad is 61, Keith's dad is 64, Sarah's dad is 66, Gary's dad is 67, Kieran's dad is 71, Chris's dad is 72, Martin's dad is 78, Foxy's dad is 79, Bev, apologies, or maybe it's Ben, apologies.
There was a Ben in High Wycombe too, yeah. 58.
No, he's 82.
82.
Yeah, Bev. Linda, 83, D, 86, Lorraine, 88, Joe, 94, and Kay is winning so far at 96.
Well done, everyone. Well done. This is
God,
great.
the shame on your dad. These people don't love their dads. Disco Dave, 67, Ian, 66, Paul, 72, and Karen, 70.
Shame on you.
Shame.
I've had a tweet through that I think we should give some attention.
Yeah.
This is from Jade. She spotted half a sofa on the grass verge of the M1.
Okay.
How on earth did that get there?
Let's. Can we furnish a house with stuff you've seen, please? 08459 455 555. So just where is this half a sofa?
Right, it's on the grass verge next to the hard shoulder. No cushions, though. So if anyone fancies half a sofa, you're going to have to go without a cushion. It'll probably be quite damp by now.
Half a sofa on the M1. OK, we can do this. Can we furnish a house with stuff that's been fly-tipped or you've seen lying around? Or maybe it's been put outside, so maybe someone's left a VHS recorder outside their house for you to take away.
We
That
want
would
stuff
count.
that's currently there, not stuff you've ever seen. I mean, we've all seen enough to furnish a house, haven't we?
Oh, no, do you know what? If they've ever seen it, because we might
We're
get
gonna
some
go
good stuff.
historical
Let's go
things.
historical. Can we This is great. By the way, both of these are running all week, I've decided. Can we furnish a house with stuff you've seen on the side of the road?
And if you can send us a picture, if you can tweet us a picture,
That'll
even
be
better.
great. We'll have like a little estate agent's
of
viewing
shame.
gallery. 08459 455 555.
Do you remember my neighbour had the fridge out and I was going to get some magnets to start spelling stuff out for her?
We'll have that. Fridge outside Kath's.
She moved it before I could get the fridge magnets.
Yeah.
I had
got
some really good messages planned.
We've got some young dads coming in.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Scott on Twitter. Hi, guys. I'm Dad. I'm 30. My son is 16. # loving it.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Well, let's ask no questions about
And
that.
then John on Twitter. My daughter's Lily May's dad is 24.
I think that might be him, John.
So it'll be him.
20. How old?
24.
Good lad. Get in there. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, let's have some of this.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, it's not every day that we mere mortals get to confront a government minister. Well, we could confront Esther McVey most days. She seems to be available for those things. Jill Thompson from Stevenage got to speak to Esther McVey, MP. She was upset at the way Ms McVey was responding to questions at a hearing into benefit sanctions, which affected her brother, David Clapson, a former soldier. Well, Jill joins us now. Morning, Jill.
Morning.
Nice to talk to you again. We've spoken a few times. For those new listeners or people who may have missed it, just give us a little background into David. What was his story?
He was a soldier, and he died of diabetes. He was a type 1 diabetes. He'd worked for 29 years of his life. He'd been a carer for our mother, and then he just depended on job seekers' allowance, and he missed an appointment, and for that he was sanctioned, and he died of starvation. So
59 years old.
Yeah.
Served his country. Hard worker. Am I right? There were loads of CVs all over his flat as well. He was, and there was evidence that he had certainly been looking for work. He was not a slacker.
Yeah, he'd been on 2 job placements. He'd actually done a computer course. He got a forklift driving licence. And we asked him to do another placement, but they turned around and told him to give someone else a chance.
Oh, blimey. So hard worker, not someone sat on their backside all day, and he died of starvation because he'd... how long had he been without benefits? Do we know?
He had a letter. A letter was written on the 15th. So he would have probably got it on the 16th. And he was found dead on the 20th. But apparently on job seekers, anyway, you have to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Before you can apply for a hardship loan.
So you got to speak to Esther McVey.
Yeah.
What is she? Is she the employment minister? She's something like that, isn't she?
Yeah.
Where did you get to speak to her, and what happened?
I went to the last select committee meeting where she was speaking, and I just was so upset because she just spoke about statistics and percentages. It it's not a numbers game. People are dying. And all she wanted to do was talk about how well it was going. She said didn't seem to think there was any problem. And that they were never people weren't set targets. And yet, people are dying, people are suffering out there.
So she's speaking. When did you get to speak to her? Was it kind of an official put your hands up if you got any questions, or did you kind of nab her?
I nabbed her.
Good for you, Jill. She works for you. She works for you. Well done. What happened?
It was at the end, and I was just so upset. She just seemed so cold. There seemed no remorse in what was being said. There was some wonderful evidence put in, and so many people wrote in with their stories and their kindness, and I just want to thank them. But they just didn't seem to be listening. And so I went up to her at the end with a picture of my brother. I just wanted to see a face to these numbers. All these statistics. People out there are dying, people are suffering. And my brother was a human being. He wasn't a number. So I showed her a picture of him. And she just said to me, it's complicated. So I just turned around and said to her, there's nothing complicated about it. He died. He was a type 1 diabetic, and he didn't have 2 weeks to live. This was a death sentence. He died with no food in his stomach, and he had no electric on his key anyway.
So those were exact words, were they, Jill? It's complicated.
Yes, it's complicated. We left the picture. I left the picture there, and it was on the desk. And my brother and my husband was so upset. He just went up and picked the picture up and took it away. He said, I can't leave it there. And he turned around and told her she just didn't care.
When she said it's complicated, which seems on the face of it to be very cold, how did that make you feel?
I was just heartbroken. I mean, my brother's gone, and there's so many others still out there suffering, and they just don't seem to have learned. They've listened to all the evidence, but they just don't seem to be taking any notice. These are vulnerable people. And also she turned around and said in the speech that they do everything possible to help the vulnerable. They use bully tactics. We've seen it. We've had evidence of it. But she said, they just denied everything.
Jill, well done. She works for you, and not a lot of people, I think, would have the bottle to go up and speak to them face to face. And you never know. Maybe a seed has been planted.
Well, can I turn around and say that on the 19th of March, Unite are holding a day of action against the sanctions, and it will be throughout the country. So you can go on the website, and as I say, I will be going with a picture of David.
Jill, I'll tell you what we'll do. Well, can we speak to you around about that time as well and just find out exactly what's going on?
Yes.
Jill, yes. I've got to move on, and I'm really sorry, and I hope that doesn't sound cold, but you understand that, the restraints of this silly job. But we will speak to you. We'll speak to you nearer the time, and always good to talk to you. Hey, it's complicated.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's been blocked by an accident at junction 25 for Enfield, between junction 25 for Enfield and 24 for Potters Bar, so that's causing delays. On the M1 southbound, 2 lanes have been closed at junction 12 for Flitwick because of an accident. It's causing 4-mile-long queues from junction 13 for Bedford. It's also looking very slow on the A5 southbound from Lynch Hill towards the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne as a result of that. On the M1 northbound, there are queues building up towards the Watford Gap services from junction 16 for Daventry because of an accident earlier. And on the A1 Great North Road, there's queues southbound between the St Neots junction and the Black Cat roundabout. Samantha Burr, BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've got to thank you. Stephen has sent us, we're trying to furnish a house with bits you found by the side of the road. Stephen, that is disgusting.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Barry Caffrey. The headlines: Stoke Mandeville Hospital accused of putting children at risk. Inquests will be opened this week into the deaths of 3 men killed in a crash on the M1 in Bedfordshire, and appeal for CCTV to be installed in a Watford cemetery following robberies.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A Buckinghamshire hospital where Jimmy Savile abused patients is being accused of putting children at risk. The campaign group Mandate Now has been looking into Stoke Mandeville's child protection policy and thinks it's not up to scratch. Tom Perry is from Mandate Now. He says sometimes it can be difficult for people to report sexual offences.
So much gets in the way of reporting, self-preservation being one thing. Look, if you're a whistleblower, you're effectively going rogue. You have to go rogue to become a whistleblower. You're stepping outside the norms. You then blow the whistle to your bosses, and then the bosses then look at this. And, of course, if you're a whistleblower, by default, you're taking the news nobody wants to hear to the administration that doesn't want to hear it.
Well, in response to Mandate Now, Bucks Healthcare NHS Trust says it takes the protection of children very seriously and internal processes have been strengthened. The coach driver, arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1 in which 2 men from Buckinghamshire died, has been released on bail. A third man is in a critical but stable condition at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. Claire Woodling reports.
The 3 men, who were in their 20s, were returning to Buckinghamshire after a night out in London. None of the victims will be named until formal identification has taken place and inquests are opened and adjourned, which will be early this week. No one on the coach, which was travelling from Kent and had 63 people on board, was hurt. Police are continuing to appeal for witnesses to the collision, which happened at 6:45 on Saturday morning on the northbound hard shoulder between junctions 12 and 13, closing the road for several hours.
Egyptian warplanes have bombed jihadists in neighbouring Libya after militants there, allied to Islamic State, murdered a group of Egyptian Coptic Christians. The Egyptian military said it had targeted IS camps, training sites and weapons storage areas in airstrikes at dawn. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had threatened retaliation after a video was released last night, apparently showing at least 10 Coptic Christians being beheaded. A Hertfordshire family says CCTV cameras are the only way to stop flowers being stolen from relatives' graves at the North Watford Cemetery. Silk flowers worth £250 were taken from Carlo Manfrey's grave in 2 separate incidents, having been left there by his family. His son Jordan says better security is needed.
CCTV for me would be the best option because, you know, it doesn't need to be manned. It doesn't cost sort of manpower to look at it. If an incident occurs, you can then go down, look at the CCTV and say, that's not my family member, I don't know that person, taking stuff off of my loved one's grave.
Thameslink trains, which operate services from Bedford into London, have been named as one of the worst performers in a survey by the Consumers Association, which, the survey of 7,000 travellers, says commuters are being driven to distraction by poor service on the railways. And the weather forecast staying cloudy and misty this morning with areas of fog slowly clearing to leave a mainly rainy day with highs of 7 Celsius, that's 45 in Fahrenheit. BBC Three Counties Radio News. I'll be back with more at 8:30.
Thank you, Barry. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We are trying to compile a list of dads' ages between the age of 16 and 100. Rach, I'm sorry, you're too late. Your dad may be 48, but you don't love him.
And I'm sorry for everyone who's given us the names of how old their dads would have been. We're not accepting any deceased dads.
No dead dads on this one. We will come up with something special for the dads that passed away, because I want my dad on the list and I can't. He's no longer with us. Them's the rules. It's tough. Them's the rules. We'll come up with something. We'll have a heavenly version of this at some point in the future.
Francesca, can she have 87?
She certainly can. Francesca.
What about Lisa? Does she love her dad enough? Is she the first to 63?
Lisa, 63? yes.
Excellent.
81333. Start your text 3CR. We're also. Why are we doing this?
Because Jade saw half a sofa on the grass verge on the M1.
We're trying. I like this. We're trying. Both Catherine and I have both read quite inspirational books this weekend, so we're feeling a little bit lightheaded and giddy. We are trying to furnish a house with bits and pieces that you've seen on tips at the side of the road, places like that. So far we've got half a sofa.
Yeah.
We've got a fridge outside yours.
Yeah. Paul's given us an iron. I don't know why someone would just go all of a sudden walking down the street with an iron and go, do you know what, this is, I've had enough.
And Stephen has sent us, I mean, I know we got a lot of kids listening today. Happy half-term, kids. Well done. That's awkward. Spontaneous round of applause that wasn't picked up. Add that to the list of shame. But Stephen has sent us. I mean, it really is unpleasant.
I mean, the sofa in itself is unpleasant, but what someone's done on it.
We don't.
Antisocial.
My mum would give them a good walloping. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Any more texts? Isn't it funny? You can come up with all this kind of interesting intellectual wordy stuff. Not on this show, obviously. And you get limited response. You say, hey, text us a number, and people go nuts for it.
Easy, isn't it? That's why. Lazy.
These two are going to run for the whole half-term week, OK, guys? So, don't panic, but panic a bit. So, can I just say very quickly, let me just throw out three of the ages that are still up for grabs. 16, 69 and 84. They're still there, as are many others.
What happened in those years?
No, it was obviously quiet.
Why is it whistleblowing, says Tony? That's just a posh way of saying grass or snitch. Why can't companies and the media report it differently? What, you want us to call people grasses and snitches?
This is the mandate now who we spoke to. They are unhappy with any changes that may or may not have been made at Stoke Mandeville Hospital in the light of recent revelations. Mandate now want to make it compulsory that if you suspect someone is involved in illegal sexual activity with a child, you have to report it.
Yeah, by law.
But what I'm confused. What's read that again with that in context?
He thinks that whistleblowing is a euphemism for grass and snitch. Why can't companies and the media report it differently? What we call them grasses and snitches. I think that might be the problem.
I don't think that's going to help. If you say, now, if you want to grass up somewhat, well, people don't want to be a grass. A whistleblower? I don't know why whistleblower is a dirty word. To me, it sounds like a very noble thing.
Absolutely, and some of these people have risked everything for what they believe is right. That's laudable, isn't it?
Where does the phrase whistleblower come from, I wonder?
Someone who blows the whistle on. Isn't it something to do with the referee?
No.
If you blow the whistle on something, you're flagging it up, aren't you?
We don't normally do the etymology of words, but...
we should.
Where does whistleblower come from, please? 08459 455 555. Do you want to give us one more before we move on, or are you done?
I think... Oh, here's one. Mark in Bletchley. A few years ago, I came round a bend on my motorcycle one early summer morning and nearly hit a fridge freezer in the middle of the road.
We've got a fridge freezer, mate. Although, I'll tell you what, we'll put the fridge freezer in the utility room.
We need the pictures.
Yeah, well, pictures help, definitely.
This is a historic...
we can't furnish the house.
Well, this is a historic... I mean, this is the problem, because Iain opened it up to historic...
pictures will help.
White goods.
Pictures will help, but they're not essential, guys. Okay? All right, come on, let's not turn on the people that are actually generating the content for this show, because without them, it would just be us sat here twiddling our thumbs. 08459 455 555. Yeah, the reason we're talking about whistleblowers is because campaigners claim Stoke Mandeville Hospital is still putting children at risk years after the abuse carried out by Jimmy Savile. Mandate Now is speaking out ahead of two reports into what happened at the hospital and says the hospital's child protection policy still isn't up to scratch. The pressure group is pushing for it to be an offence not to report suspicions of abuse to the authorities. Well, Liz Dux is an abuse lawyer at Slater and Gordon, which is representing more than 40 of Savile's Stoke Mandeville victims. Liz, nice to talk to you this morning.
Good morning, Ed.
What are your reactions to the claims that Stoke Mandeville's child protection policy is too vague and puts potential victims at risk of abuse?
Well, I wholly support Mandate Now's call for the law to be changed. And the reason why is what we think will come out of the Stoke Mandeville report is that there was clear evidence there that senior staff at the hospital knew about the abuse that was going on and failed to report it, failed to do anything about it because Savile was such an influential fundraiser. And that's why Mandate Now and ourselves and many other bodies are calling for the law to be reformed so that those in regulated activities such as hospitals and schools and scouts, if they have reasonable suspicion or knowledge of abuse, they are compelled by law to pass it on. Because at the moment, nothing can be done. So if those reports reveal that senior staff there knew what was going on and deliberately turned a blind eye, there's nothing we can do about it.
There's the excellent the biography of Jimmy Savile in plain sight by Dan Davis, which is an incredible read.
It is.
And the stories that come from that of the events that took place in Stoke Mandeville and other places are just eye-watering. Nurses...
They're from my clients.
Are they from your clients?
Yeah, they are, and they were very, very brave to speak to him. And I think the report should be eye-watering as well. We were very disappointed in the Leeds report into Savile, which basically failed to attach any accountability to the hospital about what had gone on. But I know from the evidence my clients have given to the Stoke Mandeville inquiry that they can't do so here, that people did report it to senior staff, and that must come out in the report.
Well, just the basic thing of nurses telling kids, oh, Savile's coming, pretend to be asleep.
Yeah.
That is just heartbreaking.
Yes, and it gets even worse than that. I mean, we have examples of, someone telling a very senior nursing sister what had happened to her and being told to shut up, that she was a silly girl, and did she realise how much she did for the hospital? So we have some staggering evidence.
And is that it, Liz? Is it the fact that he was a big star and he raised millions for that hospital? He turned that hospital around financially, didn't he?
He did, but at the same time, at what price of child safety? And he clearly used it as a masquerade for his heinous activities. And it was not just children who were there as patients, it was children who were there as visitors, it was autograph hunters, it was people who were doing voluntary work in the chapel. He was indiscriminate.
And, of course, there's the case of paediatrician Michael Salmon, who was abusing people at the same time, apparently independently of Jimmy Savile, but it does go to show that there was something very seriously wrong with that hospital, wasn't there?
It does indeed, and with Michael Salmon, we've got no evidence of any link with Savile, but it was at exactly the same time. Some of Salmon's patients were abused by Savile, and there are allegations against another paediatrician at Stoke Mandeville who is now deceased. So we have 3 people at one hospital with very serious allegations, 2 of them now very well established, and it just smacks of something more than coincidence to me.
Can Stoke Mandeville ever recover from this, do you think?
Well, I mean, I certainly hope so, because it does amazing work, and we shouldn't, burden it now with what it was at the time. But to recover from it, the report needs to be a no-holds-barred report, and hospitals such as Stoke Mandeville need to ensure that what happened in the past can't ever happen again by having appropriate safeguards in place.
Liz, it's really interesting talking to you. Thank you very much, and it's also very depressing, but thank you. Liz Dux, abuse lawyer at Slater & Gordon, representing more than 40 of Savile's Stoke Mandeville victims. That book, it's an incredible read. We've both read it, haven't we,
Yeah,
Catherine?
we have.
It's incredible. And we had Dan Davies on, didn't we, when it first came out about Savile, and he told us that he'd written a biography, and then he said, I've got to completely rewrite it because all of the sex stuff was coming out. And it sounds... I bought it and I wasn't sure why I was buying it. I felt a little bit cheap and dirty buying it. But actually, do you know what? It's fascinating. The arrogance of the man, the cover-ups within hospitals, within the police, potentially within the BBC. The people that knew what was going on and turned a blind eye or didn't want to believe what was going on.
Yeah, because he didn't try to cover it up, did he, really?
It's a horrible book, but do you know what? It's fascinating, and I think it says a lot about I don't know what, this country in the 70s and 80s? I don't know. It says more than just about Savile.
Well, yeah, but there's also the psychology of an abuser in there.
Yeah.
Someone who thinks, do you know what? I'm just going to be...
You struggled to read it, didn't you?
Yeah.
You took your ages to read it, because it is thoroughly unpleasant.
Yeah, I really
you
did.
need a good wash after it.
And there's quite a few bits where I thought, why am I still reading this? I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. But it was just... the incredible... Was he mad? I don't know. The incredible... He was just brazen, wasn't he?
I don't know, he was brazen, he was arrogant, he was probably a bit nuts. It was all kinds of things.
But the fact he was such an eccentric made a lot of people forgive behaviours that you wouldn't in anyone else.
The book, if you want to read it, I mean, it's hard work, but it's absolutely fascinating. In Plain Sight, The Life and Lies of Jimmy Savile by Dan Davies. You know, we should get him on again one day, because he's a brilliant talker as well, Mr. Davies. Right, let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are lots of problems on the M1 this morning. Southbound 2 lanes are closed at junction 12 for Flitwick, and that's causing delays from junction 13 for Bedford because of an accident earlier involving 4 cars and a van. Mark and Iain called to tell us about the queues at the beginning of that. On the M1 northbound, there's a lane blocked by an accident between junction 14 for Milton Keynes and 13 for Bedford, making things very slow. And also there are queues from junction 16 for Daventry towards the Watford Gap services after an accident earlier. On the M25 anti-clockwise, there's a lane closed because of an accident between junction 25 for Enfield and 24 for Potters Bar, and that's causing queues from junction 26 for Waltham Abbey. And Stevenage on Hitchin Road, that's looking very busy around Ingleside Drive, and the A1 Great North Road's very slow through the roadworks from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. Samantha Burrough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. 8:16, it's Monday the 16th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The campaign group Mandate Now is accusing Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire of putting children at risk. The coach driver, arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1, has been released on bail.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Vernon-Smith.
Good morning.
I heard you were lifting logs around at the weekend.
Yes, I've had another big delivery. I spent my weekend lugging logs.
Fantastic. Make up your own jokes at home, please. Your dad is still with us, isn't he?
Yo, he's clinging on.
How old is your dad? We're giving away dad's ages.
Oh, gosh. What is he? 60... Oh, I don't know. He's in his 60s.
You can't have the whole decade of the...
I can't remember. I don't know.
Is that unusual not to be able to remember a parent's age?
I don't know.
Well...
I don't know your age.
Yeah, but I'm not your parent.
Well, I work with you. I mean, why shouldn't I know your age?
Well, why would I... don't try and deflect. I see what you're doing here. I'm not Anne Main or Gavin Shucker. Very simply, you don't know your dad's age.
No, I don't.
Do you know his birth date?
It's in March. It's on my... it's the 23rd of March. 23rd of March.
You've just made that up knowing that I will never verify it.
Well, no, I think it is the 23rd of March.
How old do you remember him being when you were born?
I don't know. He was quite young then.
Yeah. Mm.
He was young.
Yeah, okay.
He had a moustache.
Right, you remember that, do you?
Like Tom Selleck. He looked like a slightly auburn Tom Selleck. Now he's as white as an old lady.
Hey, listen, I should warn you. You may or may not know this. Half term this week.
Right.
So we have got lots of young kids listening.
Hey, kids.
You've probably noticed the show's been a bit spunkier today.
Yes, it has.
Yep.
I'll be down with them.
Been very funky. We've been speaking their language.
It's been sick and ream.
Yeah, totally.
Sick and wicked.
Yeah, all right.
Crucial.
All right, guys. So don't patronise them. All right, they know when the man is trying to sound hip to it. So just warning you.
Right.
You just be careful.
I shall.
They will sniff through your false pretense of being juvenile and with it.
Okay.
Like
I often do that.
Bone.
I often do.
Yeah.
Attempts to be with it.
I know you do, and I just think just
keep it cool.
What are you going to open with, like a yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
How's it hanging?
What's up?
Yes.
Do that.
They love that. They love that.
Do they?
What? Let's see. What have you got on your show today?
Well, no, don't have a wait for the big reveal. Trying to copy my homework.
He did see. When he comes in, there's a little piece of paper with some bits and pieces scribbled on it. He just snatched it away from me.
Well, it was very remiss of you to try to take it from him.
My glass of water tastes of petrol.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had to. I ran out of petrol at the weekend, and it was the only thing I could use.
Oh,
sorry.
It's funny.
It's fine.
Coming up at 9 on the big phone in this morning, do you agree with Ed Balls that it's wrong to pay people cash in hand?
Oh, I like this one, yes.
Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls has told the BBC it's wrong to pay tradesmen cash in hand, even if it's just a tenner to cut your hedge. He says no matter how small the job, everyone should ask for a written receipt from tradesmen to ensure people pay the proper level of tax. Well, just over the border, Conservative MP for Wellingborough, Peter Bone, has said it's ludicrous to expect people to collect receipts for minor work. He says this shows how out of touch Labour are with small businesses, many of which deal in cash. Well, from 9 this morning, I'd like your reaction to this. Do you agree with Ed Balls that it is wrong to pay people cash in hand?
This has all got confused because what he's saying, and I've only just glimpsed at this briefly this morning, that if you pay cash, then you need to get a receipt.
Yes.
So he's not saying don't use cash. He's saying give us a receipt.
Yes, he's saying if you just pay cash and you don't ask for a receipt, then the chances are you are complicit in tax evasion.
And then Conservative MP Peter Bone is kind of. So he says it shows a complete lack of understanding. Is he trying to imply that if you're a small business that deals in cash, you're trying to dodge tax? Well, yeah.
Oh, really?
Of course they are. Let's be honest, guys. Your window cleaner, when you give them that 12 quid to clean your windows, he's not going to go and register that with his accountant, is he?
What?
What? Come on, these small and it's dodgy bodsky,
but doesn't this kind of serve the point? I mean, if you as a consumer pay by cash, you're not doing anything wrong, are you?
No, you're not.
You're not doing. Why should you have to ask for a receipt?
No, the onus is on the business.
Is on the tradesperson.
Of course it is,
so
completely.
if my window cleaner doesn't pay the tax on the £20 I pay him for cleaning my windows, is that my problem?
But then you know that he's not paying tax, and you know he's not paying tax.
What?
Now, you see? And we at the BBC, and we, of course, we don't condone this kind of stuff, but we've all paid the window cleaner a tenner, 15 quid, knowing he's not going to declare it.
What?
Oh, you're such a little...
From 9 this morning, I'd like your reaction. Do you agree with Ed Balls that it's wrong to pay people cash in hand? 08459 455 555.
Every weekday from 12, local people.
Wendy Howson and David Shipley, the trustees of the Harpenden charity Spotlight on Africa.
So privileged to see lives change, conditions change.
Local stories.
A deaf cafe will be popping up in Bedford later this month, opening its doors for you to share sensitive stories and talk of afterlife.
There are people with a similar concern. And you can have a light-hearted side of it as well, and we often end like that,
Local life.
We're going to be heading off into the unassuming countryside of Bedfordshire.
We all know the brick pits and the industrial spoil that's marked the Marston Vale.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, it was a weekend for horrific car crashes. There was the big one on the M40, and I drove past it. As it was pretty much cleaned up. I counted 6 smashed up cars being towed away, and I think there were about 6 or 7 cars still there. And it was a bad one because there were screens up on the motorway, and you just think, oh, the poor soul. So that happened, I think, first, and then a few hours later, massive crash on the M1 near here, wasn't it? Near Toddington, wasn't it?
Yes.
3 people died. It was quite, because I was kind of working until gone lunchtime. It was quite misty, was it?
I think so, and the problem was that I think the car was parked on the hard shoulder and it was hit by a coach in the early hours of the morning.
Oh dear, well, absolutely horrible. Yesterday at BBC Three Counties Radio, we were contacted by Norman Parker, who's a lorry driver who works in Milton Keynes. Morning, Norman.
Good morning.
Now, you think that part of the problem are the road layout and the signs, do you?
I think the hard shoulder, which is now designated as part of the motorway, I travel up the M1 every night, and the matrix signs come up saying congestion use hard shoulder, and then you get onto the hard shoulder, and then within a mile, the next matrix signs, the arrowheads, are telling you to leave the hard shoulder, and this continues right up from Hemel Hempstead to junction 13, and I was so concerned on Thursday night. The traffic was quite heavy. You had lorries on the hard shoulder, joining the hard shoulder as part of the open motorway, and then they were signs telling them to get out again. And then there was another sign telling them to get in, and this was all the way up. When you've got like a convoy of trucks trying to get on and off the hard shoulder. I was so concerned because I saw a couple of near misses with foreign lorries trying to leave the hard shoulder. I rang the emergency services, and unfortunately I didn't get very far because they just said it's nothing to do with us, it's not an emergency.
Well, it's the Highways Agency, isn't it? And so you phoned the police, did you, Norman?
Yeah, I phoned 112, which is a direct line on my phone.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to know. I tried to explain to them. I said, look, the matrix signs are conflicting and it's causing a lot of confusion with drivers, and if something's not done, if they're not either all switched on for using hard shoulder or all switched off, there's going to be an accident.
There is a growing trend, isn't there? I know they did it on they've done it on bits of the M25 as well, to make the hard shoulder part of the motorway. I think on the M25 for sections of it, it's permanent. Of course, on the M1, it comes and goes whenever they see fit. Do you worry that? Go on, Norman. Sorry.
I just think it's dangerous. It's okay, either have it open or closed, and make another hard shoulder like they've done on the M25. Do the job properly. The way they've got it at the moment, and the way they've got whoever's in charge in the control room, I mean, they must be monitoring the sign. They put the signs up. Now, why would you put a sign up saying congestion use hard shoulder, and then within a mile put another sign up saying you can't use it to get out of it? Well, that was for the last for the next sort of three or 4 miles. This happened about 4 times, and it was. And that's what I say. In the end, out of frustration, because I thought there's going to be a crash here with these lorries trying to get on and off the hard shoulder, that I rang the emergency services and asked if they could put the matrix signs right.
Norman, I appreciate you calling us at the station and letting us know. It'll be interesting to find out whether the hard shoulder was in use or not on Saturday. We don't know that yet. We know that a car was parked in the hard shoulder.
Yeah.
And
they were sitting in it.
They were sitting in it. And we don't know yet whether the hard shoulder was being used as a hard shoulder or whether it was a bit of the motorway.
Yeah.
Poor Norman, it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, 2 days, was it Thursday, that accident happened Saturday. You phone up 2 days before there's a fatal accident like that. Flipping heck.
I know. But I've called the police before with people sitting in cars on the hard shoulder and on slip roads.
Yeah.
If your car's broken down, get behind that barrier.
Yeah, you've got to get out, and I know it's cold and it's horrible.
And it doesn't feel safe.
No, but you don't want to, you can't sit in the car. If you were I don't want to feel like, sound like we're touting for business and making content out of was a horrible, horrible tragedy. But, if you saw any of the accident at the weekend, I'm trying to phrase this so it's more of a public service than a rubbernecker type thing. If you saw the accident, if you were involved in, the traffic afterwards and you want to give us a call, 08459 455 555.
We did have an email, didn't we, from someone whose daughter was in the coach.
Oh, yeah.
Who suggested that that a car swerved into the coach and that they got the passenger out of the car, but the driver was very, very badly injured. So we don't know whether they're talking about a different car.
The story will evolve over the week and the weeks to come, and it's very, very sad, isn't it? Of course. 08459 455 555. We're going to be giving away some more Dad's Ages shortly. Julia, I'm afraid you got in too late. 86 had already gone. You don't love your dad. And also, we're trying to furnish a house out of bits and pieces found on the pavement, in skips, in rubbish tips. We got some cracking stuff coming in.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, 2 lanes are still closed at junction 12 for Flitwick because of an accident, with 4-mile queues on the approach from Bedford. On the M1 northbound, there are queues as well between junction 14 for Milton Keynes and 13 for Bedford. That's because of another accident. But the M1 northbound between with the accident at the Watford Gap services, that has now cleared, and it's all moving fine northbound in that bit of the M1 so far at the moment since then. On the The M25 anti-clockwise, there are delays between junction 25 for Enfield and 26 Waltham Abbey after an accident earlier. And in Amersham Hill, looking at the speed sensors, it's very heavy coming into High Wycombe. No reports of any major delays on the trains. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30 with the headlines. I'm Barry Caffrey. A pressure group is warning that children are being put at risk at Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire, despite the crimes committed there by Jimmy Saville and Dr. Michael Salmon. Mandate Now is speaking out ahead of the publication of 2 reports into abuse at the hospital and is concerned child protection policy is still not up to scratch. Bucks Healthcare NHS Trust says it takes the protection of children very seriously. The coach driver arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving after Saturday's crash on the M1, in which 2 men from Buckinghamshire and a man from London died, has been released on bail. Another man is in a critical but stable condition in hospital in Oxford. Egypt has launched airstrikes against Islamic State targets in Libya. The attacks are in response to the killing of at least 10 Egyptian Coptic Christians by jihadis loyal to IS. A Hertfordshire family says CCTV cameras are the only way to stop flowers being stolen from relatives' graves at the North Watford Cemetery. Silk flowers worth £250 were taken from Carlo Manfrey's grave in 2 separate incidents, having been left there by his family. And the weather forecast, staying cloudy and misty this morning with areas of fog slowly clearing. It'll be a mainly rainy day today with highs of 7 Celsius. That's 45 in Fahrenheit.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Town moved up to 4th in League 2 after Saturday's 1-0 home win against Carlisle. Mark Cullen scored the goal, but centre-back Luke Wilkinson was sent off for bringing down Anthony Sweeney midway through the second half. Though the Hatters' boss John Still was pleased that Cameron McGeehan is returning to the club.
No, it's a great signing for us, and if I look at Michael Harriman, that we're trying to do the same sort of thing with Luke Wilkinson that came in earlier this year, Cameron McGeehan, Pelly Ruddock, Mark Cullen. There's a pattern emerging of young, hungry, ambitious players that, I think can carry the club a long, long way. I really do.
Bradford have caused another big upset in the FA Cup after dumping out Chelsea. Their latest Premier League victims were Sunderland, Phil Parkinson's side winning 2-0 at Valley Parade.
To get 24,000 fans, or 20,000 of our own fans in here would be great again, and we've had a terrific run so far. Hopefully it can continue. We didn't expect to beat Chelsea in our wildest dreams, but the way the lads approached it, you've got to give them so much credit.
Olivier Giroud scored twice in 2 first-half minutes as FA Cup holders Arsenal progressed to the last 8, thanks to a 2-0 win at home to Middlesbrough. Ireland have got their Cricket World Cup campaign off to a winning start with a famous victory over West Indies. They beat the 2-time champions by 4 wickets in Nelson, with the winning runs coming from John Mooney. Chasing 305 to win, Ireland coasted home with Paul Sterling making 92, Ed Joyce 84 and Niall O'Brien not out on 79. And in Six Nations rugby, Wales have got their first points of the championship after suffering a home loss to England on the opening weekend. They narrowly beat Scotland 26-23 at Murrayfield. BBC Three Counties Radio News and Sport. I'm back with a full bulletin at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC
Great to
Three Counties Radio.
Well, that was Barry Caffrey telling us about the Irish cricket. I see.
Large Irish population.
In the newsroom today, 100% in that little booth. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Kelly Betts is through there on the phone. Catherine Boyle is there. We've not had much Dealey action today. Where's he been?
We're sadly lacking in the Dealey
We're
department.
lacking in the Dealey department.
But he's going to bring us some David Essex, so it's going to get double manly.
We are giving away Dad's ages between the age of 16 and 100. If you want to claim that age for your of your dad, you can. Living dads only, please. We will do something with dead dads, I promise, and it'll be wonderful, and it'll be tasteful, and it'll be respectful. And
Maybe
probably
not call it dead dads.
I was about to say, it won't be called dead dads, yes. But we will do something. We will include them somehow. If you get in too late, then we put you into the shame on your dad category, which means you don't love your dad. So far, Disco Dave, Ian, Paul, Karen, Rach, Liam and Julia, you don't love your dads. Shame on you.
Not as much as other people who pipped you to the post.
We're also, and no, we've had a few suggestions. Let's do this first before we go to Georgia and Tusha and Nina. We are trying to furnish a house with bits of tut that have been found fly tipped by the roadside in skips or on rubbish tips. So we've started off with half a sofa on the M1.
Yes.
Fridge outside yours.
Yeah.
A fridge freezer which will go in the utility room.
Yeah.
And Paul has told us about an iron that he's found. What else have we got?
We had Steve with the stained sofa.
Steve with a stained sofa. Yeah, well, I'll have that.
And what else did we have? Oh, on the Facebook, there's a few things come through. A television at the side of a canal.
Who's that from? Do we know?
From someone who was watching television at the side of the canal.
Okay, yep. Some mattresses I saw.
Yeah, and some mattresses.
Okay, beautiful. Okay.
I can give you the names. We should give these people...
We should give them the credit where credit's due.
They've taken a photograph of this stuff for us.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's...
I tell you what, how are you doing that? Let's go to Georgia. Morning, Georgia.
Say morning.
Morning.
Morning, Georgia. How are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Georgia, I went to see the... you may be too old for this. I went to see the Shaun the Sheep movie at the weekend.
Whoa.
Have you been to see it?
No.
It's a little bit rude, if I'm honest. It's lots of burping in it, which my boys found hilarious.
That's funny.
Well, really? There's a little bit of other stuff as well. What's your favourite film, Georgia?
Charlie and Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl.
Are you sure that's your favourite film and not the Puppet Master who sat next to you? Who's that old man next to you? Is that your dad?
Martin.
Is Martin your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Morning, Dad!
Morning, Ian.
Morning, Dad! Now, Georgia, let me guess your age, if you don't mind. I'm going to guess your age at 22.
No.
3.
No.
16.
No.
9.
No.
30.
No.
I'm going to take a punt. 42.
No.
6.
No.
7.
Yeah.
Boom! How does he do it? How does he do it? The mystery powers. The mystery powers. Now, Georgia, have you called in to tell me how old your dad is?
It's 36.
Please let this be an age that we've still got. I'd hate to tell her she doesn't love her dad. Hey, you've got it! Dad's 36, Georgia. You're on the list. Is it half term for you, Georgia?
What?
Have you got the week off school?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you doing anything nice? Or are you just going to annoy Dad?
Doing something nice.
OK. You can annoy him a bit as well. It's kind of your job. Georgia, it's so nice to talk to you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye, Dad. Bye, Georgia. Well, isn't she adorable?
Lovely.
More calls like that throughout the week, please.
The mattresses were Mel's, by the way, and the telly was Jill's.
Jill's telly, Mel's mattresses. Oh, I say, Melanie. Tushar's on the line. Good morning, Tushar.
Good morning, mate. You okay?
I'm fine, thank you. What have you got for us?
It's just, I think I phoned about half an hour ago and I just said about my dad's age. Am I still on the list?
Well, let's find out. How old's Dad?
62.
Whoa, 61 is gone. 63 is gone.
Oh.
62's gone, Tushar.
Oh.
To you, mate!
Yay!
Yay! You love your dad, Tusha.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much indeed. Nina's on the line. Hey, Nina, you got a sore throat?
I certainly have.
Oh,
sorry?
dear.
What?
Yes, I do.
Don't laugh at her. Nina, they're laughing. I'm not, because I was like you at the weekend.
No, you weren't. You weren't as bad.
Go for a steam.
A steam?
And, suck a fisherman's friend.
Oh, now.
Come on. The old ones are the best. At least that's what I've been told. Nina.
Yes, darling.
When did this sore throat come on, Nina?
I've had it for 4 weeks now.
4 weeks?
Oh.
Oh, dear.
You should go to a doctor. If you've had it for 4 weeks, Nina, you should go to the doctor.
I have. I've even been in the hospital for 5 days.
Oh, mate. And you were laughing at her, Kelly.
I want to know what she normally sounds like.
Can you do an impression of what you normally sound like?
Normal.
Normal, okay. But is everything all right, Nina? You see, so you've had it pretty rough. Are you coming out the other side?
I hope so.
Okay, we hope so too. What have you got for us, Nina?
I wouldn't mind 84 if you've still got it.
Pressure's on now. Please don't say it's gone.
Is that how old your dad is?
Yes.
Nina, you love your dad. Your name is on the list.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Now stop talking.
Go and have a rest, my love. That's how much she loves her dad. She's prepared to make her last words, not saying she's dying, but she's saying she could lose her voice. Her last words, phoning up a radio station just to say a number.
To say that number.
That's how much she loves her dad.
And what was that special number? Let's just remind ourselves.
84. Luann's on the line.
Good morning.
Oh, Luann, okay.
What?
No, you know, I remember you being Billy Big What's-Its before when we were giving away ambassadorships and all of this stuff, and then there was the whole scandal about you lying about where you lived. So you're going to say an age, and do you know what? I'm probably not going to believe it.
Well, neither will I, because I can't remember the actual age of him, so there you go. We're back to square one.
So you've called up...
Do vague age, are we?
You've called up to claim an age of your dad, and you don't even know what age it is.
Well, I've got to keep up, my appearances and all,
You don't know... honestly,
right?
Trust me, Luann, you don't have to.
Well, the thing is that I've got to do it because my kids and my husband are all still in bed. So, I'm the only one up, so I had to...
Oh, do you know what, Luann? I can't be bothered to talk to you. Say hello to Justin.
Hi, Luann.
Hello, Justin. Well, at least you're a bit easier to talk to.
I am indeed. Luann, did you like my video for Valentine's Day, which has gone viral?
I did. The roses on the bonnet were absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely. So, what have you got for us this morning? Because Iain can't be bothered to talk to you.
Well, I don't really know, because I don't want to answer his question now.
You don't know what you phoned up for?
No, I did know what I phoned up for, but I don't want to answer his question to let everybody know how old my daddy is.
Well, you're talking to me now.
My daddy. I know, exactly. So what question would you like to ask me?
How old's your dad?
All right, he's 66 this year, so that means he's 65 at present.
Does he vibe at 66? Is he a good-looking 66?
He's lovely. He's just taken retirement. They've just moved out the country and they're living it up in the Isle of Wight at the moment.
Ah,
so, yeah.
The Isle of Wight. What, in the prison there or in a house?
Just outside.
Oh.
Just outside.
OK, Iain, is that on your list now, boss?
Yes.
OK. Are we done?
So I don't love my dad.
No, it's on the... explain it to her, Catherine.
You do love your dad. You managed to get in there before everyone else, so hooray!
Hooray!
Although I've put a question mark by it, Luann. I want a copy of his birth certificate, please.
OK, no problem.
Thank you, Luann.
Boss, you're tense this morning. You OK?
I've got previous with her.
All right.
Amber.
Hello.
Good morning, Amber.
Morning.
Amber, what do you do for a living?
I go to school.
You go to school. You're a teacher?
No.
Headmistress?
No.
Dinner lady?
Dinner lady?
No.
Cleaner?
No.
Are you the caretaker?
No.
What do you do at school then?
I learn.
Good answer.
OK.
Good job.
Yeah, but it's Justin, you could take a few tips from this young lady. She sounds like she's got her head screwed on. Yeah. Amber, what have you got for us this morning?
Well, my dad's 43 and I live in Stevenage Old Town.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful Stevenage Old Town. Is your dad a good dad or a rubbish dad?
A good one.
Is he there with you?
No.
OK, so we can speak honestly and openly about him. Tell me, why is he such a good dad?
Because he gets me loads of toys and...
Bribery. Yeah, OK. What's the best toy he's bought you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Is he a bit stinky, though?
Kind of.
Yeah, I bet... Yeah, I'm just getting a vibe, Anne, because you sound like such a clean young woman. I just bet your dad's a little bit stinky and a bit dirty and doesn't shave very often. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, stinky dad. Amber, what are you doing for this week off?
I'm at my nan's house right now, and I'm doing my homework in a little bit.
Excellent.
No.
Excellent. You see, she's getting it out of the way so that the fun times can begin.
Amber, ditch the homework. Go and climb a tree. Go and jump in a pond. Go and catch some tadpoles. Go and be naughty. Go and draw on a wall, Amber. Draw on Nanny's wall. Amber, it's good to talk to you. Maybe speak to you later in the week.
Okay.
Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
You are such a bad influence.
I want more kids call. I love this. I could ditch all of these adults and just have kids phoning in. Man, we got to get a Saturday morning show here, haven't we? Haven't we?
Yeah.
Justin. Oh, I've cut you off. Justin?
Yes?
You're there. You've taken David Essex... Yes. You've taken David Essex to the streets.
I have, yeah.
Can I come back to you after a bit of Trav and Wev?
Yeah, I've got a point to make, though. Kids half-term should be enjoying themselves, not doing homework.
I agree.
Yeah, what's going on?
She should be drawing on her nan's wall with felt-tip pens.
Terrible.
Justin, see you in a sec.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's over half-hour delays between junction 13 for Bedford and 12 for Flitwick after a 5-vehicle accident there. The M1 northbound also has queues from junction 14 for Milton Keynes to 13 for Bedford, and that's after another 3-car accident. The M1 northbound, though, is easing off past the Watford Gap services after the problems there earlier on, and there are still queues on the M25 anti-clockwise after the accident earlier, so those delays are from junction 26 for Waltham Abbey towards 25 for Enfield. In North Watford, looking at the speed sensors on the A41 North Western Avenue, that's quite slow around the Dome roundabout, and in Hitchin on Parkway, that's quite slow in both directions between Paynes Park and Gossamer Road. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Right, it's 8:46 exactly. It's Monday the 16th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Campaigners claim Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire is still putting children at risk years after the abuse carried out by Jimmy Savile. An inquest will be opened this week into the deaths of 3 men killed in a crash on the M1 in Bedfordshire at the weekend. Coming up, Dealey, David Essex, furniture and dad's ages. All after the weather with Sarah.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, thanks very much indeed. We've got a band of rain out towards the west. It's in Oxfordshire at the moment. A couple of little bits and pieces just trying to make their way into some parts of Buckinghamshire just now, but it's just a precursor to the main rain band. That has been narrowing, it must be said, in the last little while. So at the moment, it's not looking like we'll have too much rain across the 3 counties with us in about 2 or 3 hours, starting to spread across us, I think, about that kind of time period. But it looks like we might just see a little bit more developing later, so you may well have a drier interlude before you see further rain for this evening's rush hour. Whatever, cater for rain through this afternoon. Top temperature of 7 Celsius at best, I think, probably, and it won't feel any great shakes as that rain comes through. It will, though, all clear away in the early hours of tomorrow morning with the cloud as well. Behind it, the temperature's falling away, a northwesterly wind setting in, moving some colder air towards us, clearing of the skies, and we'll certainly see a ground frost, if not an air frost, by tomorrow morning. But a beautiful day in prospect for tomorrow, very different to today. Staying dry, lots of sunshine, and a high of 7 or 8 Celsius. We are also dry for Wednesday and the bulk of Thursday, increasing cloud through that time period though, and it looks like we'll see some rain later on Thursday.
Sorry, your dad's 66.
He certainly is.
I'm getting trolled on Twitter by Iain, whose dad is also 66, and you replaced him, rightfully so.
Oh, thanks so much.
Internet bullying, it really is not a thing I dig. Have you got a message for Iain, Sarah?
Iain, I want you to just go to a mirror now and just look in the mirror and just see if you can find in your heart, the generosity and spirit of love.
Wow, wise words, Sarah. Thanks very much. Hang on, what did she say?
Every weekday morning.
Let me get on with your consumer problems.
Should I expect it to last as a £350 TV or a £250 TV?
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Have you gone back to the retailer? I went and spoke to the company that you'd paid the money to.
The JVS show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
So I emailed again and reminded them of the statutory rights, which I've heard in your programme.
If you need our help,
statutory rights.
JVS show at bbc.co.uk.
They've backed down and
they are putting right into me that I no longer owe the money.
And we could do the same for you.
That's fantastic news. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Your team is fantastic because you look after the people.
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Interesting.
We're having cunning plans in here.
Yeah, I bet you are.
CPs.
Dealey?
Hey, Geezer.
Geezer, just loosen our belts for the last 10 minutes, shall we? Let's just relax a bit. Let's just chill out. It's half term.
Yeah.
Not half term for us. Not literally loosen your belt, Kelly. It's a metaphor for just easing off the gas a little bit.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see that. Now, Catherine, why are you doing those fingers?
Because Canalman Tony has got in touch. We need to issue a retraction.
Uh-oh.
You were saying to that young lady to go out and be a reckless lawbreaker.
Yep.
Too early for frog spawn. By the way, I tried to do a frog spawn experiment with my kids and it ended up going very, very wrong.
Why? I don't understand. When will frogs stop reading that stuff? Yeah?
They all started to...
Let that sink in, Justin.
It's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it makes it difficult for me to tell you what happened in my jar. I'll tell you after.
Let's go. Justin, we'll come to you a bit in a second. I just want to... let's go to... Oh, Julie. Good morning, Julie.
Hello, Iain.
They all started to eat each other.
I just want to say it's a year since Mum died.
Oh, well, not year today, is it?
It's Matt. No, it's Matt McCann's daughter, Julie.
Oh, hello, Julie.
You're my best friend, you know that.
Oh, hello, my love. Of course. How are you doing? You're right.
I just want to say how wonderful my dad is.
No. I'm not having this, Julie. Your dad is a pain in the bum, right? Matt he is, isn't he, Dealey? Matt is a right old pain in the backside.
Julie, be honest. He rang you this morning, didn't he?
Did he? Did he ring you to get you to... He's such a miserable...
Anyway, no matter what he does, I love him anyway.
I cannot believe you have to put up with that grumpy old git.
Do you know what, though, Iain? He's gone through so much with losing Mum and everything.
He takes it out on me, though, Julie. It's not my fault. Listen, we are trying to get Matty Bum Bum, it's his nickname now.
Yes.
We bully your dad mercilessly.
I know you do.
We are trying to get Matty Bum Bum to come. We're having a lads' evening out on Sunday. 50 Shades of Mayhem. Justin Dealey's 50 Shades of Mayhem. He won't come.
What did he say? Do the impression.
No, let him go for it.
He said,
go for it.
He said, we asked him, Julie, we asked him last week and he said, "Oh, a load of nonsense."
What a load of nonsense. I'm not going.
That's exactly like him.
What a load of nonsense. I'm not going to see the rubbish.
Then he said, "I'll wait for the DVD."
We can all do impressions of your... How old...
on my face.
How old is your dad?
He is 74.
No,
he's older than that.
Come on.
Yes, he's 74.
Julie, he's on the list. You've just snuck in there. How's he doing? Is he all right?
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He said he wouldn't come and see the film with us, but he would watch it on DVD.
I'll get it when it comes on DVD.
I don't know. I don't know whether I'd go and see it. I've asked my husband to take me, but...
Hang on a second.
Hang on a second. Matt's on the line. Morning, Matt. What Matt, do you...
Dad.
Matt, do you like the show?
All right, Iain, I like you.
Thank you very much. Julie, always a pleasure to speak to you.
All right, then,
Tell him to
darling, you
cheer
have a
up
good
a bit.
day.
He's on Fader 4.
Oh, hang on a minute, Matt.
Is he on the phone?
Matt.
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Hi, Dad.
Flippin' heck.
Don't listen to that bum.
You know, the only reason he's come on is so it saves him the price of a phone call to you, Julie. He's saving himself 10 pence.
Yeah.
Julie, tell him he's got to come to 50 Shades of Grey.
Dad, you've got to come to 50 Shades of Grey.
No, I'm not. Tell him not to waste his money. I wouldn't watch rubbish like that. I'll watch it on the DVD.
He's watching on the DVD. All right then, Dad.
Matt, did you really get Julie to phone up so that she could big you up?
Of course I did, because Julie is the greatest daughter anyone
Oh,
can
he's
ever have.
such a creep.
Oh, don't.
Even when he's saying nice things about you, Julie, he sounds miserable as sin. Come on, Matt.
After what he's coped with for the past year, I think he needs to...
Matt, don't take it out on me.
I'll take it out on you all the time, pal.
Matt, will we see you Sunday evening at the cinema?
No, do not waste
Dad,
your money,
go on.
please.
We'll be in
No,
Ireland
I'm not.
anyway. I'm going to Ireland.
Yeah, I'm going to Ireland with Julie.
Julie, it's lovely to speak to you again.
Lovely to speak
well
to
done
you,
for being
Iain.
up your dad. Matt?
Yeah.
Dear Dad.
All right, darling.
Yeah, Matt, get lost.
Get lost.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, so the frog spawn experiment went horribly
what
wrong.
happened?
They all ate each other.
Why do they read that stuff? Do you get it? It's a clever one, that, isn't it? Just?
Turns out I should have put some bacon in there or something.
Harriet's on the line. Morning, Harriet. Why do they read that stuff? It's disgusting. Yeah? You get it, don't you? It's a good one, that. I like that. Harriet, we are trying to furnish a house with stuff on the side of the road. What have you seen?
Well, I was just going to phone up and tell you about this really old, one of those huge box computer things that someone left on my mum's road a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But as I was driving down one of the roads towards Mum's house, there were these 4-car tyres spaced about 1.5 car lengths apart from each other, just randomly down the side of the verge. I don't know what the hell they were there for like that, but it was interesting.
Maybe it was an invisible car.
Perhaps, except they didn't tend to... They put them in a full square pattern, not in a line, but yeah.
Idiot.
Maybe it was a new...
Well, hang on a minute, Harriet. How are we... Justin, maybe you can help me. How are we going to furnish a house with car tyres?
Put them in the garage.
You know what? She was so quick with that. We'll have it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the computer. Catherine, what are you bouncing around for?
Oh, just a Twitter thing.
What happened? Go on.
Danny Baker followed me.
Hey! Oh, dear. How easily they're pleased, Harriet. Harriet, listen, I've got to go because I want to scope. Justin's been out working and we won't have much time to hear it. Justin.
Hey, boss.
David Essex.
Yes.
He's a dad at 67. He's inspired the great giveaway of dads' ages. You've taken it to the streets.
I have. You asked me to produce a David Essex package with some views for the streets. Is he too old to be a dad again at the age of 67? So a bit of a mixture of things coming up here. Take a listen.
It's so good to have you near me, so hold me close, don't let me go.
A UK number one in 1975, and rightly so. Hold Me Close, exactly what Big Dave said around 9 months ago to his third wife, Susan. Well, a tired David has been pictured in public with his fifth child, Sonny. The Gonna Make You a Star said it's wonderful to have another boy. But what about the people on the streets this morning? What's their opinion of David Essex becoming a father again at the age of 67? Do they say, oh, what a circus? Or do they say, rock on? Take a listen.
Fair play to him. Fair play to the man. Knock him out while you can, mate. That's what I say.
No, it doesn't matter. For men, I don't see the problem there.
So you say rock on?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever it turns him on, I suppose, isn't it? It gives you extended life, and maybe your brain gets younger.
Would you want a baby now?
Definitely not.
So it's not for you, but it's certainly for the D-man. How old are you, geezer?
23.
23 years old. So how would you feel about having children when you're 67?
I'd prefer it a bit sooner, to be honest. Yeah.
Hold me close, he says. So hold me close. Yeah. 67. Well, fair play to him. Bit old.
Let's get the Polish perspective. David Essex has become a father at 67. Is he too old?
Well, maybe a bit, yeah.
Yes or no? Is he too old?
Yes, I think he's a bit too old.
It's a great Polish perspective. Thank you. Mixed views this morning. So, will there be any more children from the Silver Dream Machine? Well, when asked if he's planning a baby number 6, the legend replied, we'll see how it goes.
Justin, the Gonna Make You a Star line, guaranteed that gets into the podcast. I'm going to move on because I just want to get Christopher on before the show ends. Morning, Christopher.
Hello.
Hello, Christopher. How are you?
Good.
Are you on half term this week?
Yeah.
Yeah? And how old are you, Christopher?
5.
You're 5? Fantastic. When are you 6? Do you know?
In November.
Oh, so you're only just... Hey, isn't 5 a lot better than being 4?
Yeah.
So much cooler. Have you called in to tell me how old your dad is, Christopher?
45.
He's 45?
Yeah.
Christopher, and is he a good dad?
Yeah.
Well, you love him very much, Christopher. He's on the list. Thank you very much. I'm glad we managed to fit you in. I'm loving having kids phone us up. I'm tempted to say tomorrow it's kids only. Let's have a little think on it.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kel's bells. I think you're there now, Sammy. Sorry.
Yeah, hello.
Go on, what have you got for us?
Well, on the M1 southbound, 2 lanes are closed at junction 12 for Flitwick, and that's causing half-hour delays from junction 13 for Bedford. Also on the M1 southbound, it's starting to get busy on the exit slip road at junction 13 for people trying to avoid those problems at junction 12. The A5 southbound, though, that's starting to ease off between Lynch Hill and junction 9 for Redbourne. On the A1M southbound, it's very slow from junction 8 for Hitchin to 7 for Stevenage, and the A1 Great North Road, it's very slow southbound from the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks. It's also looking very busy on the A40 Western Avenue from the Denham roundabout towards the Hillington Circus towards the M25. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Expertly done, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you, Dealey, Betts, Boyle. It was a good show today, wasn't it? We will carry on furnishing a house from junk tomorrow and also giving away Dad's ages. 6 o'clock tomorrow. Until then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Monday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's big phone-in, do you agree with Ed Balls that it's wrong to pay people cash in hand? The Shadow Chancellor, Ed Balls, has told